Okay, so a very good evening, guys. Can you all let me know if y'all can hear me and also see a screen? Yes, you can let me know on the chat box. Can hear, can see? Right. Perfect. Good, good, good. So guys, just to start things off, I think what you can do is you can use the main chat box Lamai for communication, because I think I told you this a couple of classes ago during our theory class as well, with the new Zoom update that has come. When you all personally send me a text, what happens is, individual chats get opened up. So then it's a little bit harder for me to reply. But if you really, really want, you can still send. But I would recommend for you to use the main chat for any communication related things. Okay, so with that being said, welcome to the first day, right? Day one of our 2026 A levels revision class. The whole program starts off today. There is a lot of things that I want to tell you. We'll start off with a bit of a plan as well on how you can make best use of this 1 year. So you have, suppose, let's say your exam happens somewhere around in, we're not sure of the dates exactly, but let's say your exam happens somewhere around in August or maybe September, I would say next year, somewhere around there. That means you have a little bit more than 1 year, not 1.5, but maybe around a 1 year and a 3 to 4 months. That is the time that you actually have. And now, regardless of what level you are at the moment, now, right now, Lama, at the moment, some of you all might have been well on track. You've got your work done. Some of you all might be just starting to get things done. That's all right. I'll give you some sort of a plan. I'll give you on how you can get this done within this 1 year and a few months that we have. And I want all of you all also, with the time that you're putting in, Lamai, your target has to be not just to get an A, to get something more than an A. When I say something more than an A, I'm telling you, all of you all should believe in yourself. All of you all should have that target to, get into a good district, a good island rank kind of a place by the end of this whole thing, because all the work that we are going to do is not for you to just get to that 75 lamai. Just to get to 75 lamai, there is much less work that you can do and get 75 for econ. So we're not going to do all of this just to get 75. We're targeting for something much more than a 75. So I'll give you my plan as well. So what we'll do in terms of today's session, I'll take the first 45 minutes to give you a bit of a overview of how the revision class works, how you can make best use of it, how you can, start making a plan and start studying from today onwards and get things done. Okay. And then after we are done with that, Lamai, we will then move into unit number 1. Now, before I start, Lamai, how many of y'all did y'all get your tutes? Tutes in the sense the papers, the file with the papers? Yes. Got it. Yes, no. Others? Let me know quickly, 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 quickly. Don't fall asleep now on the first day. Got it? Right. So I've couriered the set of tutes Lamai close to around a bit more than 300 students. So I think there are a few people who would have not yet got it. So for those students, Lamai, if you have filled that registration form, I would have sent you all Lamai a registration form. And if you have filled that, your tute will come soon. Now the problem, Lamai, today is a public holiday. I actually usually don't do classes on the Poson Poya day, but today I had to start this off because I didn't have another day to get it done. So that's why we are here doing this class. Sorry about that if anyone had any other plans to go out or anything, but that's all right, right? The sacrifices that we make for education is perfectly acceptable. So for those who have not yet got your printed tutes yet, you will get it soon, Lamai, on your end. Make sure that you answer the phone when the courier calls and make sure to collect the tute. Because how it usually works is, Lamai, once I courier the tutes on my end, the courier company would call to check if you are at home and also to get directions to your house. So only if you answer and, confirm that you're at home and give some sort of directions, only then they will come, Lamai. Otherwise, sometimes they don't deliver because they also have so much of packages with them. They don't want to, come into a road and then realize that the person is not there and turn back and go. So they don't want to do that. So that's why they always call before coming. You'll also most likely get a text message as well. Did you all get one saying that your tute is out for delivery? The people who got your tutes. Usually there is a message that would come from CityPack. So that is a sign that your tute is coming very, very soon. So have that. Usually when I send the tutes lamai, I will also give a reminder on the group. So just keep that in mind, because some of you all lamai, you all sometimes fill the form and you all completely ignore the calls that come. So eතකොට ළමයි the courier doesn't come. Courier doesn't come, the tute comes back to me. So on your end, try to get that done. Perfect. So let me share my screen. We'll get started. And I think the fact that all of y'all are here today, right, on a holiday, right, you would have had so much of things to do. Your family right now might be having fun. Your friends right now might be, they've gone out for a movie. Your cousins would have gone out, to have some fun. But you are here in front of some sort of a screen, maybe your phone, maybe a laptop, and you're listening to me here. The reason for this is that you believe you want to get this done. That is why you're here, Nalama. If you talk about this in economic terms, you made a choice. You sacrificed everything else in this 3 hours, and you're here because you are serious in getting this thing done. So if you are serious in getting this thing done, I'll give you a plan. And in the next 1 year and the few months to go, we will get this done. Right? So believe in yourself. I will take you there. On your end, you need to get the work done. This class llama is mainly for the 2026 students. The 25 students, maybe if you all are here, I don't think you'll benefit a lot because we're only covering unit number 1. Because 25 students llama with around 4 years for the exam. If you are still a little unsure of unit number 1, then product, that is the problem. But there is no harm of staying and learning, but it's mainly for the 2026 students. Okay, so I'll share my screen and let's get started. Okay. Give me a second. Sharing the screen. You should see a screen in a couple of seconds. Why isn't the screen visible? Do you see a screen yet? No. It's coming. Done. Okay. Perfect. So with this being said, let's get started with what we have for today. Okay. Now, I'll start off with saying this. I want all of y'all to realize now, so far, in terms of your 2026 A-level batch, some of y'all go to school, some of y'all are private candidates, and not all of y'all are here at the exact same level. Some of your alumni might be very smart. Right now itself, you are already scoring, let's say, 80, 90s in your term exams. You're already there. Some of your alumni might be in the mid-range. You might be in, let's say, the 40, 50, maybe that kind of a range. Maybe some of your alumni, y'all are just starting off today. You might be right now at a 0 level. So regardless of what you are, I totally understand that, Lama. I totally understand the different people here. There is 250 right now in the meeting. And I know that all of you all are at different levels. So I'll give you a kind of a plan. You can twerk this around based on your level and we'll get things done. So for those who don't know me a little bit about me, Lama. So I am Arshad and I teach advanced level economics. I've been teaching since the 2020 A-level batch. That's what I have been doing. The recording for this session, Lama, yes, most likely I will be providing, but try to be there live, Lama, because recording itself might sometimes get a little boring. Okay, but I will give you the recording most likely, don't worry. So a bit about me, I did my A-levels in 2017. So that's 9 years before that you are going to do your exam. I schooled at St. Thomas's, Mount Lavinia. That's where I did my A-levels. I was among the top 50 in the island in 2017. And with that, that is where I actually got into teaching. I thought there was so much of knowledge in me because I've studied a lot of things. I didn't want that to just die with me. So right after A-levels, I started with, a few small classes, helping a few juniors from school. I went from, door to door, doing individual classes at different houses, doing that there. And then I started university. I went to the University of Colombo, Faculty of Management and Finance. I did my degree in business economics. Along with that, I also got CIMA done, right? So I am a CIMA past finalist, and then During Unilamai, I was a part of Rotaract. I was the president of the club at university. So I did a lot of things along with in school as well. And one thing that I will teach you is, Lamai, how do you balance everything around and how do you still get things done? Now, even when I was doing A levels, Lamai, now you all might be thinking, when this fellow is someone who is top 50 in the island, and I was also top 50 in the island, Lamai, by doing just the normal three subjects. So I've not done IT, Hari. Now, usually there are certain subjects that give you uh, Z-score advantage sometimes. Recent years, subjects like IT, subjects like business statistics, have given a bit of a Z-score advantage. But I've not done any of that. I've just done the normal three subjects, that is Econ, Accounts, and BS. And I was among the top 50 in the island. And while I was also in school, Lama, I was a part of so much of things. I was a prefect in school, different clubs, different societies, different sports that we were part of. So there was a lot of things that we were involved, but we still got things balanced. That's exactly what I want y'all to do as well. In this next 1.5 years, Lamai, I know so many of y'all might be a part of different sports. You might even sometimes be the captain or the vice captain of a team. You might be part of different clubs and societies. You might be the president, the vice president, the secretaries. You all might be in the top board out there. You all might be the prefects who are actually running the school, right? You might be the head prefect sometimes, you might be the deputy, or you might be on that senior list. So I know all of you all are doing something there, right? It's not, I hope you are doing something as well. And the only thing that you're doing is not just studying. So along with doing all of that around Lamai, while you are doing so much of different things, so I'll teach you how you can balance things out and how you can still end up getting a very good A-level result, just like how I did, and we'll get things done. And then apart from that, I also right now, Lamai, I work as an economist. I am not a full-time tuition teacher. So that is why I don't actually have a physical class, right? I get so many calls from parents, from students and all of it. So many invites from different institutes also to do a class physically. But for your batch, I will do a couple of sessions physically, not a regular kind of a class, but I am planning a few paper sessions, a few quizzes and all of that for y'all on a physical setting, but not a regular class, Lamai, because for me personally, online works very well. My students have got results. I'll show you the results as well. It works. It's very much more convenient. It's very much more easy. It saves a lot of time, saves a lot of effort, saves a lot of money as well. And you can get things done. So for that reason, I am sticking online because I do work full time as an economist. My real-time job is that, right? I do a lot of interesting econ related work. I forecast exchange rates, interest rates. We advise clients on what is happening. So I am very updated about what's happening in the economy out there. And I do bring those kind of examples in class as well. So that's a little bit about me in terms of what I do and all of that. The recording of it, Lama, like I said, most likely I will provide. So with that being said, in terms of your classes, right, I would want to term this saying, learn economics in a modern way. So compared to having, let's say, physical, I've not planned it out yet. I'll let you know if I'm having a physical gathering, the location and all. It'll most likely be in Colombo, but where exactly, I'll let you all know. Okay. So currently we do have a theory and a revision class that I am doing. So there is a theory class that I'm regularly doing every Thursday night from around 7 to around 9:30, 10. And then from today onwards, we're starting off a revision class. So this revision class, Lama, is also a paid program. But usually the first month of the revision class, I open it up for free because I want all of you all to come and try it, because I don't want any of you all to come and pay money and register for the revision without knowing how it works. And because some of you all don't like to learn online. Some of you all might not understand what I teach. So I don't want any parent, any individual, am I, wasting your money on me, because I come from a very, I've told you all this, I come from a very basic middle class family. I know how hard it has been for my parents to pay off the class fees. I know it's not easy to pay class fees, to pay school fees and all of it. So the last thing I want is to waste anyone's money. So I don't want to do that. And I don't spend a lot of money in terms of marketing you would have never seen me. I maybe in the future I might, but in the last 4 to 5 years, I have never boosted an ad on Instagram or Facebook. You would have never seen a sponsored ad of mine on Instagram or Facebook. All of these things, I just share a flyer or two on WhatsApp. I don't have a separate designer. All the flyers that you see that comes on the group have been designed by me. So because of that, I do save some amount of money, and that money I use it to give it back to the students. So that is where, even if you take this month Lamai, there would have been a considerable amount of cost that was involved to print all of that tutes, right? The whole file and all of that you would have got. I tried to print it in a comparatively a good quality. There is a considerable amount of cost involved there. So instead of, spending money on Facebook, Instagram, and marketing it there, I tend to, use that to give it back to my students at the end of the day. I think that's much more beneficial than, me paying Facebook and Instagram. So that's what this whole program is about. So this first month is completely free. I'll tell you how you can make best use of it. I'll tell you when and when you will have to do those papers. You would have seen around 11 papers there inside that file. I'll let you know when you will do that. When do you need to submit, which papers I would mark and give, which papers I would discuss. I'll, run you through all of that in this first intro session that is there. So that's a little bit about the class itself. In terms of your target, I think I would have told you all this on the very first day. At the first day that we started classes, also theory classes, I would have told you all, Lamai. So in terms of commerce, there is close to around 50,000 students who do commerce in all the three mediums, English, Sinhala, and Tamil. If you take arts, so art students also do econ. Arts, there is close to around 80,000 students who do A levels. So if you take, let's say, commerce, if I focus on, since majority here is the commerce type of students, I think your target has to be, Lamai, if you're going to do all of this work, if you're going to do all of those 11 papers for unit number 1, and along with that, that means just imagine, Lamai, for unit number 1, you have 11 papers in this next, and I will finish the revision class by next year, February. So all 12 units will be done. So then by next year, February, Lamai, you would have done 100 odd papers. And along with that, you're learning theory as well. So you're doing all of that, Lamai, not just to get to a 75. I want all of you all to stop thinking of just a A. We're not thinking of just a A. We're thinking of something beyond an A. Like if you think, now you might be thinking this fellow must be bluffing around me, Mata, I can't even pass this exam. How is this fellow talking about beyond an A? You will get there, Lama. You need to start believing in yourself. And that is where I say consistency is key. You will not see results, Lamai, in a day or two. Now, let's say with all of this happening, you start studying tomorrow. Let's say tomorrow you make up a plan, you get things done. You're not going to see results in a week, Lamai. You're not going to see results in, let's say, even in a month. It takes time. Little by little by little by little, my continuous work, little by little by little by little. 1 year down the line, you will realize you've done so much of work. Right? I'll give you an example from my experience as well. Like why consistency is key. Now, even Lamai, when I started econ classes, when I started even classes back in, let's say, around 2020, 21, I would have had, Lamai, a class of, let's say, around 5 to 10 students. A class with around 5 to 10 students. I never wanted to compete with any other teacher. I never really cared what other teachers are doing. Like, yes, they might be doing a physical class. I didn't want to do that. For me, money wasn't everything. Right? So on my end, what I always wanted was to do my class a little better every day. So I focused on Lamai in terms of the tutes. Now I remember for my 2020 batch Lamai, all that I gave as a tute was a PDF. I gave them a PDF tute of around, per unit, there was around a 20-page tute. Then little by little that got more advanced. Now for the 26 batch Lamai, the tutes that I would have given you, for the 27 batch, what I would be giving them next year for revision would be much better than this. So little by little by little by little, when you continuously improve on yourself, you realize that you've come a long, long way. And that's something that I want to put out to you as well. I don't want you all to compete with anyone. I don't want you all to, put anyone down. You don't have to, it's not about always who is the first in class, the who wins the prize. It's not that. In life, if you can get everyone around you and if you can grow together, and that I would say is the biggest victory. So help each other, Lamai, help each other, help your friends, learn from them, do all of that you can. but also have consistent work. Little by little by little by little by little by little. Don't ever start comparing yourself with anyone. Different people are at different levels. Now, some people, something that I say, first time it goes into your head. Some people, you have to go through that 2, 3 times for it to go into your head. Different people are made differently. You need to understand that. You don't have to compare yourself with anyone. Someone might come and say, yesterday I studied for 10 hours. Someone might say they would have studied only for an hour. But maybe both of them got the same thing done. Maybe the person who studied in hour was a smart fellow. He got it done in an hour. This guy took 10 hours. So it's not about the time that you spend. It's not about which class that you go. Even if you don't continue my class, I have no problem at all. But have that consistent level of work, little by little by little by little, you will get there. You will not see results at a stretch immediately, no. But if you put in that consistent work, if you get all these papers, if you do all the work that I'm asking you to do, maybe 1.5 years down the line, when your results come, and then you will see results, Lama. You will not see results in a month or two. So be consistent. It's sometimes, Lama, it's very natural human behavior. All of a sudden, one day you get a spike of motivation. Again, there is nothing. That's not what you should be doing. Now, right now, after today's class, Lama, you're very motivated. And tomorrow you start work. Tomorrow you start work. Next week, now see, I'll tell you this. Note down the number that is there in the Zoom a meeting right now. Right now, there is a 268 people. Okay. And I'll guarantee you, next week, the number would be less than this. That's what I don't want to happen, Lama. I don't want you all to. Okay, now there's 271. I don't want that to happen, Lama. You need to be consistent with whatever work that you do. Little by little by little by little by little, you will get there. So make sure, not just econ, not just A levels, in anything that you do, Lamai, you need to have that consistency and that level of discipline. And then I'll just quickly run you through, Lamai, this whole online thing, right? Because I know a lot of y'all are a bit skeptical. I know physical classes are fun. I agree, Lamai. Physical classes, Marajol, you go with your friends, the boys, you check out the girls, you have the crush on the boys, but you act like you don't. It's all of that happens in a physical class. You have all your friends there, you gossip, you have a good time after class. I know all of that happens, but even despite all of that, Lamai, an online class works as well, especially in this last 1 year, because Lamai, in an online class, you will save a lot of time. Now, so far, Lamai, most of you all would have had, let's say, one class a week. No? You would have only had a theory class. Let's say if you're going for all 3 subjects, that is 3 classes a week. But Lamai, going forward, things will get hectic, Lamai. Now for econ, starting from this week, you have 2 classes. Then have you all started revision classes for the other subjects? Yes. Whatever subjects you all are doing, business, IT, accounting, I don't know, anything that you all are working on, have you all started? So that also will start, Lamai. So once those start, Lamai, that is then 6 classes a week. You have 1 theory class, 1 revision class into 3 subjects. That's 6 classes. And after that onwards, Lamai, you will start some other classes also. Now, if you right now, Lamai, for my 2025 batch, I do 4 classes a week. Right, for my 25 batch, I have a past paper class and I have a fast track program, pushing them to the island ranks and all. I have a class for that. So there are 3 classes in the fast track, 1 class as a past paper class. I have 4 classes a week for that. Then there are some teachers, Lamai, instead of, let's say, doing 3 hours into 4, they might sometimes take the entire day. So entire weekday, morning to evening, you might spend with them. So what happens is, Lamai, going forward, your class schedule is going to get much more hectic. And if all of those classes end up being physical classes, Lamai, what happens is you become very exhausted and you might not have a lot of time to start studying. Now, I remember when we were doing A levels, Lamai, we never had this luxury of an online class, the recordings to go back to all of that. So I remember how exhausting it can get sometimes. Sometimes dawasama bare, right? From the early morning in the traffic to all of that, you're spending so much of time in the road, traveling, getting dressed, and all of it. You might sometimes actually not really have time to study. So maybe if you really want a physical class, maybe from your 3 subjects, Lamai, maybe have 1 or 2 subjects as a physical one. If you really want that physical interaction. But maybe having 1 or 2 subjects online can help a lot with balancing time. You will not realize it so far. You will realize this, let's say, around by the start of next year. By the start of next year, all the teachers will start so many other additional classes. Things will start getting clashed at some time. Like it gets hectic there. So the fact that this is online reduces that time to travel, reduces that, you're not tired. So all of that is removed there. And then, Lamai, the best thing, I would say, the biggest advantage of this whole thing being online, I think my theory class students know this, Lamai. Every single class that I do, I record it and I upload it on my website. Now, usually now this is the free month, Lamai. So this class, most likely I will put it on YouTube, right? Because once the paid classes start, every single class that I do, Lamai, including today's one, will be recorded and put on the website. What does that mean? Until A levels, Lamai, you can watch that recording unlimited times. I don't charge extra for the recording. It's covered in your class fee itself. So that is the biggest advantage, I would say, of the class being online. So even if you miss the live class, let's say it's clashing with another class, even if you miss the live class, even if, Lama, you might be a part of sports, prefectship, different club societies, you might have events. Please go there, Lama. Don't miss a event in school because you have to go to a class. Go and do that because you'll never get those times again. But you can always come back and you can always catch up. And that's where what happens, Lama, usually in A levels, everything is connected. Today's session will be connected to next week's session. Next week will be connected to another week. Now, sometimes what happens is, Lama, you fall sick. You miss 1 week. And the next week, you don't understand. Then what happens? You don't blame it on you. You blame it on the teacher. May this fellow is not teaching. I don't understand what he's saying. That's what happens. And then you start hating the subject. Then you start getting lost. You leave the class and then 1, 2 months you are realizing, now I am not done anything. But all of that doesn't happen when we do this class online. So every single class, if you miss the class, Lama, you don't have to drop me a text saying, Ane sir, send the recording, sir. Can I have the recording away? Within 24 hours, I will add it to the website. You can go and watch. So maybe if Tuesday you miss it, by Wednesday, the recording is there. So then you can set a time on Wednesday night, whatever time you want. That's up to you. You can watch it, catch things up, and get things done. And you have my number on WhatsApp. If there are any questions, you can always ask. So there's so much of students who do that, Lamai. So that is another big advantage. And finally, we also, Lamai, I don't believe in PDF tutes. So even though my class is online, I will properly print and send you the tutes, the papers, and all of that. So it just because it's online, that doesn't mean I would send you the PDF versions of it for you to print, even though it cost me a lot to print. There is a huge printing cost, Lamai. Now, I remember I told you last month, I spent close to 1 million rupees printing tutes. I'm not lying. I spent 1 million rupees printing tutes last month, not just your batch, the 25 batch, 27 batch, all of them together. That's the amount of money my teachers sometimes spend on printing tutes. And that's why you might sometimes see certain teachers even charging for the tute time, because tute printing cost is a big expense. But I will print and give it to you. I will not compromise on quality. You will get a good quality tute and you can get things done. And it works as well. So if you think that, this whole online thing doesn't work, trust me, it does. So in the last A-level batch, the 24 batch, the results that just came out, there were 3 students of mine, Lamai, who were in the top 10 in the island, not in the district, top 10 in the island. So you had the island second, island fifth, that was my own sister, and you had island ninth as well. So all of these 3 people, Lamai, were people who were there in my class for around minimum, I would say, around 1.5 years. Most of these, all 3 people were actually there for theory classes as well, for around 2 to 2.5 years. So they were there and they got things done. So that is proof that it works. And especially if I tell you, Lamai, a little bit about my sister. So my sister, I remember when I was doing classes at home. So I do classes in my room. My sister is in the other room. They would have never joined a class live. Never ever. Right. So I have twin sisters actually. One was the 5th in the island, the other one was the 210th, if I'm not mistaken. So they never joined classes live. I would have never favored them or anything just because they were my sister. If they also don't submit papers on time, I never mark their papers also. So things were set, but the recording was there. they all watch my recording. So they watch my recordings, they get things done. So even if you miss the live session, Lamai, that is all right. Now, even if you take Induvara, who was Island second, sometimes Lamai, I don't see him in class. So when I don't see him in class, I get a bit worried. I drop him a text and say, you know what's happening. But I know that he watches the recording, he gets the things done. Even though he might not be in the live class, he had that discipline to submit the paper on time and get that done. So I go and check my website and see who has logged in, what have they watched. So then I know, even if this fellow is not in the live class, he's still catching it up on the recording and getting it done. So it works, Taman. So 3 people among the top 10 in the island. I've not made a flyer for the top 100 in the island. There were close to around like 7 to 8 students who were in the top 100 in the island in Sri Lanka in 2024 who were part of my classes. I made a flyer with the district ranks. Again, district ranks also are my usually now if you take a rank, the top 100, top 200, top 300, all of them you can consider it as good ranks. If I try to put the top 300 district ranks into a flyer, I might not have space in a flyer. So I made a flyer. Again, I might have not made a lot of flyers because like I said, I am the one who designs the flyers. So I don't have a lot of time to do the designing. So I made a flyer with the top 10 district ranks, students who've got come among the top 10 in the district. So there was 7 students Lamai who were in the top 10 in the district. So different districts we've had from Colombo to Gampaha to Kandy, Galle, right, all around Sri Lanka. There have been students who've done pretty well. So if you take, let's say, the top 100 in the district, Lama, there's close to around 30 odd students who have got district ranks among the top 100. So I've not made a flyer, sorry about that, but maybe someday if I make a flyer, I'll send it across to you. Okay, so it's proof that it works, Lamai. So there is I've given a bit of a results update of the previous batches. We can skip those. So it works. Online is completely fine. You will get your result, but you need to get the work done, Lamai. Just because you come to my class, I am not telling you that you're going to get an island rank or a district rank. If you come to my class, stick to the work, get the work done, you have a high chance of getting there. Just coming and just because you are such a student, that doesn't mean, Lamai, you have an island rank or a district rank guaranteed. You stick to the work, I will take you there with all what we do. The recordings are 25 batch. Yes, you can purchase. If you're on 25 batch, just drop me a text after the class. So in terms of your syllabus now, your syllabus, Lama, you all know, has 12 units. The first 6 units are the grade 12 syllabus. And you have the next 6 units, that is the grade 13 syllabus. That is how it works, Lama. So first 6 is grade 12 and the second 6 is grade 13. So right now in the revision class, we will start, Lamai, from unit number 1. We will do unit by unit, Lamai. Now you all would have seen your tutes. The tutes are only for unit number 1, right? You have a main set of papers for unit number 1. That's it. There is no unit number 2 or anything involved. So we'll go unit by unit. Now in my theory class, Lamai, right now I'm in unit number 4. So it will I'll align it and I'll show you how it works. I'll let you know, Lamai, when we will do the papers as well. So then let me run you through how does the revision class work? What is the plan? And how do you all do all these papers, Lamai? Now, if you all, did you all open the file and see what the papers were? Did you all notice that the papers were a little bit of different? It's not the same paper. There were different types of papers. Did you all realize that? Yes? No? So if you open your file, Lamai, open your file and see, you will realize there are different types of papers that are there. So I'll run you through what the types of papers are, which papers do you need to get done, when will you submit, and all of that. So inside your file, Lamai, you will have 3 types of papers. I'll run you through unit number 1. The other units also is similar. So for unit number 1, Lamai, you will have your main revision paper. So can you see there is a paper that would have been the one that is at the start of the file. The paper that has this first page for a short note. Balan, if you have a paper like that. So there would be, Lamai, that's the main revision paper. Okay. You have the main revision paper, Lamai. There are 4 papers. So there is paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4. Now these main revision papers, Lamai, I have made this in a way. What I have done is, Lamai, I have broken every unit into small areas. Now, if you take Lamai unit number 1, now, number 1 is a big unit. What I have done is Lamai, I have broken it into a small area. In 1 week, we focus only on one area. Right? I'll show you how. Now, if you take Lamai unit 1 itself, did you all notice that there was something called a focus area? Yes. Did you all see? In top of a paper, there is something called a focus area. So Lamai, unit number 1, I have broken it into 4 parts. Each week, we will focus on one part. You all know what exactly to do. So unit number 1, focus area number 1. That is the first part of the unit. That is what I will be teaching you all today, Lamai. That is on this. So micro and macroeconomics, right? Micro, macro, positive and normative statements, and then goods and resources, economic goods, non-economic goods, the different type of resources, land, labor, capital. All of that is focus area number 1. Then we have Lamai focus area number 2. Can someone, if you have the paper, Lamai, can you all see? Revision paper number 2, what's the focus area number 2 on? So this is number 1, the first part. 2 was on scarcity, scarcity, opportunity cost, and that is the focus there. What is focus area number 3, Lamai? Number 3, scarcity, choice option was 2. 3 is on the economic systems, market economy, command economy, right? You have all of that. That is focus area number 3. So economic systems. Then you also have the 4th one. What is the last one? The last one, Lamai, is the PPC. And so what I have done over here, Lamai, production possibility curves. So I have broken every unit. Now, unit 1 is the one that you have for now, Lamai. I have broken every unit into manageable chunks that we can focus every week. That's why it's called a focus area. So during the week, Lama, you focus on that. The tutes have not been shared in the group, Lama. Printed tutes would have been sent for the 2026 students only. Okay. So I would have, right? What we do is, Lama, every week, we focus on one of these areas. We don't try to do the entire unit in a week, Lama. So in week number 1, now that is this week, we will Lamai focus on mastering this first part. We are not going to do all of it, right? So we are going to work only on this first focus area. And then I'll show you how the class goes, Lamai. Now today, I have my slides. I will share the slides with you all as well. I will Lamai recap the theory. So I will teach you all what is micro, macro, what are these goods, what are resources, what are different types of resources. I will teach you that. So today I will do that after I do this introduction. Then Lamai, this revision paper number 1. Now that revision paper number 1 is connected to that first part. Azan, I don't hear, so I'll continue. So revision paper number 1 is connected to my focus area number 1. Now that paper, you all would have seen, Lamai, that paper, there is space for you all to write answers inside the tute. So inside the tute paper itself, there is lines and all given for you all to write. Now that is a paper, Lamai, that you all will be doing and you will submit answers. So usually when our class is on Tuesday, no? So Tuesday class is at 7 o'clock. By 6 o'clock. So first day in the no paper to submit this week. From next week onwards, Lamai. So next Tuesday by 6 o'clock, you have to write answers for revision paper number 1 and you have to submit those answers. How to submit the answers, Lamai? I will send instructions on the group. I will not complicate this introduction. Then next week, I will discuss that paper. I will mark that paper for you all also and give. And we will then move into Lamai focus area number 2. That's how it will go. So every week, we will focus on one focus area. I will recap that area. Then you will do the paper and submit it next week. Next week, you can use a full scap to write answers if you don't have the printed paper yet. No problem. Okay. I will recap the area. I will guide you, Lamai. Don't worry. There will be regular messages and all of that comes in the group guiding you on what to get done. So we will recap the area. We'll do a paper. We'll move to the next. Recap the area, do a paper, move to the next. There are short notes and all that you have to make. I'll teach you. Then apart from this main revision paper, Lamai, we also have the past paper focus areas. So there, Lamai, those are not my questions. Those are all the past papers. So from these 4 focus areas, Now, for the theory class, Lama, you would have got a past paper tute for unit 1. That is all the past papers. Now, here what I have done is all the unit 1 past papers, I have further broken it into these areas. So you will have Lama 4 past paper focus area tutes as well. So if you see, can you, do you all find those? Yes. Second term by marker, I'll give it to you soon. It's almost up. You'll find those, the ones that says past paper focus area one. So then, Lamai, along with doing this main revision paper, you will also do the past papers from that area. Now, the past papers, Lamai, different focus areas will have different set of questions. Now, for example, PPC will have a lot of questions. Something like, let's say, macroeconomics and stuff might not have a lot of questions. So, different focus areas are there. So then you have the past paper focus area to use as well. Papers, I'll let you know when we will do this. And then, Lama, you also have some additional take-home papers. These papers are actually very small, Lama. These papers will take you around 45 minutes to do. That's it. There is around 3 papers there. So that also I will communicate. Now, today itself, I will not give you the deadlines for all of this. Then you all will get confused. No? So all of these are there, Lama. There are the focus areas. Little by little, we will get it done. Now, I will send you all instructions on the group. When do you have to do the paper? When I will be discussing how to submit answers, all of that. I'll send it on the group. Now, if I tell you all of it now, you will just get confused. So just remember, every unit is broken into a focus area. So it's broken into smaller areas. A focus area is a smaller area. So unit 1, I have broken into 4 areas. For those 4 areas, I have separate revision papers. For those 4 areas, I have all the past papers. And then separately, I have some take-home papers as well. Take-home papers are actually small ones, Lama. So that is how it is. I'll send you the tutes as well if you have not got it yet. And then we'll work on it. So usual, Lama, now this unit number 1, all of this work will happen, Lama, within a month. Now, by the, let's say, the first week of July. Now, this is the first week of June. So by the first week of July, Lama, all of this work we will finish. So that means, imagine, in this next 1 month, Lama, you have 11 papers to get done. Along with the 11 papers, Lama, you'll also be making short notes also. There is space. I'll show you how to get that done, that we can, work on in our next class. Or towards the end, I'll let you know how to do it. Okay, that's how the revision class goes, Lamai. So we will do 1 unit, we'll then move to the next. So then in terms of timelines, until when will I do this revision class? Now, usually, Lamai, I am a little different than all other teachers. I don't drag my theory and my revision class until A levels. Now, if you realize, Lama, usually in my classes, now, right now, yes, I'm giving you all this plan. Usually, Lama, I'm not the person who talks about a lot of things, a lot of unnecessary things. I will not talk about my love story or how I got married, though. That's not the kind of person that I am. Okay, I don't do a lot of things like that. So because of that, and I also start my class on time. Usually, if the class is at 7, I am in front of my laptop at 7. I wait for 5 minutes sometimes for people to join. So even today also, I was there by 6:50. I'm in front of my laptop. I was sending messages on the group reminding y'all by around 7:05. Once you all are there, I get it started. So that's how that goes. So because of the fact that I start classes on time, I don't do any other nonsense, I save a lot of time. So as a result, Lama, the plan that I have for y'all is, now right now in my theory class, this is as of June, this is June 2025. As of June 2025, Lama, in my theory class, I'm in unit number 4. Okay, unit number 4, very interesting unit. Now, revision class that we are starting today, I'm Lamai in unit number 1. Now, when is your exam? We don't know an exact date. So your exam, Lamai, might, let's say, for example, let's say it is in August next year, we'll say. Let's say by next year, they come into this one. So let's say it's in August 2026. So I will not be dragging the theory and revision class syllabus, Lamai, until August or until July, which most other teachers will do, Lamai. On my end, I will finish all of this. When have I told you all that I will finish, theory people? When will this theory and revision both finish? I would have told you all this in the theory class. All of this by the end of February, Lamai. I will somehow finish it. So now this is June. So June to December, Lamai, 7 months. January, February, that is 9 months. So in the next 9 months, I will finish the theory class syllabus, all the 12 units, the revision class that we are starting today, this syllabus also. Now today, this month we are doing unit 1. No? So then you realize there are some months we will do 2 units. Otherwise, in 9 months, I can't finish 12 units. So there will be months that we will be doing a couple of units as well. By February 2026, you will be done with theory and revision. So you're done with the syllabus twice. You have learned the theory. Revision, you have done all the papers. You will be done by Feb 2026. And I'll tell you, if you properly stick to this plan in the next 9 months, by February, you will realize how ahead you are compared to everyone else. Sometimes, in February next year, you will see some people are still learning some unit number 6 or 7 in theory. In revision, they are now only unit number 2 or 3. By February, you will be way ahead than almost everyone in the country there. There are 50,000 people doing commerce, around 60, 70,000 who do econ. So you will be by February. If you work on these 9 months, by Feb, you have finished the syllabus twice. You're ahead than everyone else. Then after that, I'll do a different type of a program targeting the island ranks, not just 75, 95, 100, getting you close to that. That is where that fast track program starts. Now, this fast track program, so many other teachers also do. I only started this in 2020. Now, so many other people have also copied. They are also calling it the fast track program. For them, fast track program is like it's a different thing. What other teachers call a fast track program is not what I call a fast track program. My fast track program comes after I finish theory and revision. So I completely finish all the 12 units in theory, completely do all the papers in revision for the 12 units. Once that is done, once the student is done with the syllabus twice, and then the fast track program commences. The fast track programs will commence on March. And then based on that, we have a different set of a program until A levels. So then there also you will cover the syllabus again, but there the focus is not just the 75 to get to that island rank level. So that is what we have, So we have the fast track program, we have the mock exam series. We'll have a past paper class also that we will start somewhere down the line. So theory and revision, yes, we'll both finish together by the end of February. So trust me, if you finish theory and revision by February, you're going to be way ahead than everyone else. No one at that point would have finished all 12 units. You know all the 12 units. That means, you can now work on full A-level papers. By a natwa, you can get anything done, So that's what we have in terms of a timeline for my classes for now. Okay. So all of this we will do. Don't worry. I have done this for the previous batches. I will get it done for you as well. Okay. Then I will leave the introduction at that point. I think I covered most of it, what I wanted to cover. There would have been a small things that I wanted to, but I will let you all know that along the way, we will talk about it. Otherwise, introduction is too long. No? So I do classes that are completely online. So I have my own institute, that is iTutor SL. And then I also work with Satya College. I don't do a physical class for them. For them also, I do it online. There are two separate WhatsApp groups where students who register get them. Both of them get the same tutes. Both of them get the same class link. So both of them are here in this class right now. So there are no two classes now. There is only one class, but there are just two institutes that I am a part of in case you are confused. So if you have heard about this revision class through Satya College, then you might be in the Satya College group. If you heard it through me or someone there, then you would have been on my main class group. So right now, I think in this revision class, there is close to around 340 people in the iTutor group. And I think there was around 50 people in the Satya College group. So there are a few more slots. You can let your friends know as well. I printed close to around 450 tutes. So if there are a few more friends that you all want to think can benefit from this and register, you can pass the message to them. I will courier the tutes to them as well, and we can get started. Right. So that is a bit of about the intro, how things work and what we will get done. So in terms of your plan now, right? So I want to give you a bit of a plan as well. So right now, I'll give you, now I will not tell you lamai what time to study and when to study. So I'll tell you something is lamai. I don't want you all to plan big. Now, some of you all, lamai, how many of you all lamai product get motivated and have you all made these plans? This plan, today 6 o'clock I will wake up, 6 to 8 I study this, 8 to 12 I go to school, 12 to this thing I do this. Have you all made plans like that weekly? Yes. This week, this is my plan. This time I wake up, this time to this time I do this time to this time I do this time to this time I do this. How many of those plans have worked, Lama? Has it ever worked? Maybe first day you might have stick to it, Lama. Very rarely, you might find one or two fellows that it would have worked, Lama. How many of you have a proper plan like that which has worked for at least a month? I highly doubt it would have, Lama. So how do you plan? How do you get things done? Now, Lama, that is why I told you, my plan will be different with your plan. Your plan will be different from your friend's plan, Lama, because y'all are different. You need to understand that. People are different, Lama. Y'all are at different levels. Some people understand something in 1 hour, some people might take 2 hours to understand. So people are different. So what you need to do is, Lama, this is how you make a plan. I'll give you a simple tip. Lama, understand that you have 3 subjects, not only econ. And now econ, I'll tell you what to do, but you need to understand that you have other 2 subjects also, Lama. So what you do is, usually on Sunday night, right? On Sunday night, that is right before your week starts. Now, on Sunday night, Lamai, you all know your upcoming week, what you have. In this upcoming week, sometimes school term exams, you all know in the revision class, you all have these papers to do. So you have, right? You have a clear idea about what you have. If you have a wedding hurry, function hurry, no, unless an emergency thing comes up. So then, Lamai, on Sunday night, think a little bit about your week ahead. Okay, this week I have to go to school all 5 days. This week there is a holiday. This week there is this. This week we have a paper to do. So you put that think. And then, Lamai, make a realistic list of things that you want to get done. Let's say, for example, Sunday night, I will plan, okay, next week, the upcoming week, for econ, I will do this. Econ, I will do, let's say, focus area number 1. I will finish the paper. Let's say I will do some past papers. So exactly, I will do these papers, this, right? I will do something else. It doesn't have to be a very big plan, Lamai. Realistically, make a small plan. Like this week for econ, I'm going to do this. Then, okay, this week, I don't know what your other subjects are. I'll take the 3 common commerce subjects. So this week for business, I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do for business studies. This week for accounting, based on your class schedule, school term exams, whatever you all have, I don't know. No. You make a plan. Now you have, Labai, a small target for a week. Don't target for more than that. Don't make a plan, Lamai, for 2 months, 3 months. That won't work. Make a plan for a week. Okay. And make a plan that you can finish in 6 days. Keep Sunday for a cover up. Sunday is a catch up day. I'll show you why. So then, Lamai, now what you do is write this on a piece of paper. Now you can start this today, Lamai. Maybe not the entire week, from Wednesday to this Sunday. Make a small plan. What do you want to do? For econ, I want to do this. For business, I want to do this. For accounting, I want to do this. Or whatever the subjects you have, this is what I'm going to do here. Write it on a piece of paper, Lamai. Have it on your study table. Make this like a checklist, Lamai. Product box එකක් වගේ දාන්න ඉස්සරයි. Right? Have a small checklist. Then, now, Lamai, your target is within this week, no matter how many hours you take. Now, some person, Lamai, within, let's say, 8 hours, you might finish all this work. Some of you all are a little slow learners. It might take you around 20 hours to get it done. You might have to stay up late at night. You might have to wake up early morning. So make your plan realistic also. I mean, don't put 100 things to do. You can't do. No. That's why you plan on Sunday night. You know what you have in the week. Make a small plan, a small target. This week, I will do this. It might not be a lot of work. That is okay. But you have a plan that you have. And then, Lamai, every time you do something, product ticket. Today I did this. And that depends on your mood also, Lamai. There is no rule saying every day you have to study all 3 subjects. Or in one day you have to study only 1 subject. Depends on your mood. Now, sometimes at night you're product tired. You can't learn theory, but you might be able to do like an accounting calculation. Some calculations you can do. Maybe early morning, or you're refreshed, you want to focus on something, or you do some econ. Some days you're focused on, let's say, learning something, or do some BS. So depending on your mood, what you feel is going to work well at that point, do anything that you like, Lamai. Mix it around. Maybe in a day, do all three subjects. Maybe take one day, finish all the econ. That's up to you. So whatever that works for you, Lamai, little by little, tick. So your target is by Saturday night to finish all of this. Whatever that you have planned, by Saturday night, you will finish. How much of hours it would take, that is up to you. I don't care whether you take 20 hours or 10 hours or 5 hours. You just have to get the work done by ticking all of that. And then, Lamai, Sunday you can take a break. You can treat yourself. If you have done all of this work, Sunday product take a break and then plan for the next week. If you have not finished anything, then Sunday you will have to catch up on. So keep one day free, Lamai. That is either to take a break or to finish whatever that you have not finished. So now you will realize, Lamai, so this is a small plan. Next week, may convert, you're just doing one small thing. BS that maybe not the entire unit. Maybe half of a unit you're studying. That's it. You will realize, what is the point of that? That's why I said, Lamai, at the beginning, consistency is key. This week, you will realize, Ayo, this is very small work. But Lamai, around 6 months down the line, if you take those whatever plans that you made, whatever that you have ticked, and when you look back, you will see you've done so much of work. Right now, it might not feel a lot, Lamai. Little by little, when you look back, Lamai, you will see that work. So you stick to a small plan. Look what a plan gahan Nepal, Lamai. Big plans don't work. Big plans always fail. You can't make a huge plan for the next 9 months. I'm going to do this day, I'll do this. You don't know what will happen, Lamai. Just plan for the week. Just this week, I'm going to do this. This week, no term exams, what you have, based on that, you make a small plan. Next week, make a small plan. Then 9 months later, by the end of February, when we finish this theory and revision and all of it, small, little by the work that you have done, you look back and see you've done a lot of work, right? So having this plan, Lamai, now, how many of you, Lamai, keep procrastinating, keep on, I will start studying tomorrow, I will start studying day after, I will start studying, from Monday, I will start studying. Yes, is that a common thing that you have? Happens tomorrow, I will start now, right? That happens now. Sometimes then you will realize, then you don't know where to start. Sometimes you'll be like, now where do I start? That is where, Lamai, this small plan can help. No matter what, Lamai, no matter, be the crowd that doesn't give excuses. No matter what happens, you will tick all of these boxes within this week. So that's where you have to make a plan, Lamai, that is realistic. Just don't put 1,000 things that you can't do. Even if it's a little thing, that's okay. Make a realistic plan that you can finish within a week. Don't, now, for example, Lamai, this week, don't put econ unit 1, unit 2, all of that. Maybe entire unit of econ is also 2 months. Maybe for this week, what you can do is, okay, econ focus area number 1, unit 1. That is micro, macro econ, positive normative statements, goods, reasons. And that part you can finish. So make a small part. Don't over plan, then you won't get it done. Make a realistic plan, stick to it, Lamai. Trust me, 9 months down the line, by the end of Feb, when we finish theory and revision, all 3 subjects, you would have done a lot of work. So keep on ticking, you will get it done. That's what you can plan for the day as well. But overall, I would feel plan for a week. And then if you want, break it down for a day. So now this week I need to get this done. And then you say, okay, today I will do this. You can plan it that way as well. So you can mess it around. You don't have to exactly follow what I'm saying to the dot. Who are also smart people, you play around, you'll get that done. That's what I would recommend as a plan. Now, in terms of my theory classes, just since I got a few inquiries, right now, Lamai, in my theory class, I told you, I am doing unit number 4. So if anyone wants to join, you can start from unit number 4. I have done around, Lamai, 4 classes so far. I will give you the recordings of those classes. So all my classes are recorded and put on the website. So I will give you those recordings. Then even for a day, if you watch 2 recordings, in 2 days, you can catch up, right? So you can get things done. So then unit 4 is not connected to 1, 2, 3 also. So even if you don't know 1, 2, 3 lemma, you will perfectly understand unit number 4. So you can get unit 4 done. Unit 4, I will finish it within this month, and then you can finish it off. So 4 sessions you have missed, you can catch up. Don't worry. There are around another 4 sessions left, 3 to 4 sessions left. We can get it done. The next month, I will start unit number 5 in the theory class. So theory classes now happen on Thursday night. Tuesday night revision. Thursday night is theory. Printed tutes I will send. Recordings are there. All of that is there. If you all have questions now, you can just drop me a text on WhatsApp. Okay, so I'm guessing that is it in terms of the intro. I don't want to waste a lot of time. So this is my contact number, Lama. If you all have questions, always drop a text. I will respond. I might sometimes not respond then and there, but I will get back. Okay. Missed recordings, I'll give you a plan. Drop me a text. Okay. Unit 4 Tuesday, I have sent. I have sent it last month itself. Theory class is Thursday night, 7 to around 10, 7 to 9:30, somewhere around. Okay. So with that, Lama, I will leave the intro part because otherwise we don't have time to learn the unit. So we'll revision. This is our class then, the class that we are doing right now, Tuesday, 7 to 10. Okay. With that, Lama, we will move into the first focus area. So if you all have noticed, Lama, in your revision queue, revision file, I have not given you all a note, Lama. I have not given a note. There is no unit 1 note. I feel I gave it to some of my previous batches. I realized that was just a repetition of my theory note. I don't have to repeat something again because y'all are a part of a theory class. Y'all are either learning theory in school, maybe learning theory somewhere, learning theory with me. You have that theory note. So you can study that as your theory note. You don't need a separate another note for revision. That's just a repetition of work. Instead, I will focus more on the papers, Lama. We'll do more papers done. And I have my notes for the unit. I have put these in the slides, Lama. I have put these in these slides. I will share these slides with you. So if anyone doesn't have a theory note or something, then Lama, you can use this. But I will recommend you have some theory note, Lama. You can use those. But if you don't have, I will share these slides. You can use this as well. I will add this also to the website. Maybe first week in the, I will send it on the group, but you can use that as well. So you will not have a separate note kind of a thing in the fast track. Now, when I finish theory and revision in the fast track, when I start in March, there I will give you a summarized note, targeting that island rank thing. I'll get things done. Right. So then, okay, now how many of y'all don't have an idea of unit number 1, 2, 3? You've not learned one. Okay, sorry. Forget about 1, 2, 3. Forget. We'll start with 1. You have not learned unit number 1 anywhere else. School, law, class, so I don't know, anywhere else you have not learned unit number 1. Maybe you're trying to do A-levels in 1 year. Anyone like that? You have never learned unit number 1 before? Okay, there are a few. There is around 10 people. Okay, so for those kind of students, Lamai, now again I am repeating, this is not a theory class, but you can recap the area, Lamai. So in my theory class, Lamai, I go very much into detail. Right? So if you want, you can purchase those recordings and tunes and get it done. Theory class, Lamai, I go very much into detail as to what this is, and all of it. In the revision class, Lamai, I will not go into that detail, but I will recap the whole thing. I will not skip anything. I will recap the whole thing. It might sometimes be a little bit fast for you, right? Because you have not learned it at all. It sometimes can be a little bit fast, but you should be able to manage. If you think it's more fast, you can actually get my theory class recording and you can cover it up as well. That option is also available for you. But otherwise, I think you should be able to handle, especially the first few units, because first few units are not that hard. But let's say like unit 7, unit 8, 9, they are mine. You need to have a little bit of theory. I have not even done that in my theory class. You can join my theory class for those. Unit 1, 2, and 3, you can handle even without much theory. But if you have theory, better. But even without much theory, you should be able to handle and get it done. We'll do a little bit and see, then you will understand, can you actually handle. Okay, do you want a break before I get started, or are you all okay to get started? Yes, it's 8, 9. Want a break? Okay, how many minutes? Shall we take a 5-minute break? Not a very long one. So I have this whole unit 1 focus area number 1 to get done. I'm not going to give you a longer one. So we'll take a quick 5-minute break, Lama. Now 15. We'll take a break until around now it's 8:09. So we'll take a break until 8:15. Maybe I'll give you a break by around 9 as well. I will finish this area only and finish the class. My usual class time is 7 to 10. Maybe today we might not go until 10. I should be able to finish a little early, but take a break and come. Okay. Okay, so Lama will get started now. After the break, we'll now get into unit number 1. The intro is done. The plan kind of thing is done. So we'll get started. So starting Lama with unit number 1. Focus area number 1. So like I told you, I have broken the unit into 4 areas. So each of this area is called a focus area. So today we'll start with focus area number 1 and then letting you all know this beforehand itself. So once focus area number 1 is done, then you all can start working on revision paper number 1. So revision paper number 1, you would have seen that 8-page tute that is there. So that 8-page tute, that is revision paper 1, the one that has a short note area in the start and all of that. You can start working on that. Okay, so I'll let you know more details. You will most likely submit it. You have to submit answers for that paper by next Tuesday. So usually you have 1 week to take 2 hours to do the paper and submit. So I will mark that paper and give if you submit it by the deadline. So Tuesday 6 p.m. you will have to submit revision paper 1. How to submit answers and all, I will send instructions. Just have that in mind. Next week, before you come to class, you have a paper that you have to do and submit. Okay. Then we'll get started with this. So starting with unit number 1. Now, one thing that you have to remember, or something that I wanted to share as well, especially in this next 1 year, look after your health. Very, very important aspect there. So look after your health because there's so much of viruses going on. Anyone who caught chikungunya or anything recently? Yes. Or your parents had it, someone at home had it. It's not easy. And there is so much of viruses going on. And if you get something like this, it disrupts a lot of things. For around 1-2 weeks, you end up, you might not be able to study. You might not be able to, get a lot of things done. So it gets a little hard. So please look after yourself as well and be careful. Okay. So we'll start, We'll start with unit number 1, the first area that is here. So that is, I'm going here, in a question kind of a format, which is much more easier. I will share this PDF with you all as well. So for those who don't have a theory note, you can refer to this. So this is the same notes that is there in my theory class tute as well. That's why I don't print it and give. For those who are not a part of my theory class or who don't have a theory note, you can even refer to this. Okay. So starting with the first thing, we'll start with, I have not given this, but we'll start with what is economics? What is economics about, Economics is a study about how people do what? What is economics, Okay, yes, scarcity is involved. If you are to define economics, what would you say, It's how people satisfy their unlimited wants. How do you satisfy your unlimited wants? With your limited resources. So economics is a study about how people satisfy their unlimited wants with the limited resources they have. And then, so as a result, how do they make choices? How do you make proper choices and how do you get all of that done? That is what economics is about, no? So people have unlimited wants, limited resources. We'll go through that in the next part also, and how you make choices and get things done. So then, if you take economics itself, there are 2 branches, no? You have microeconomics and macroeconomics. So I want you all, some parts are very easy. So I will go a little fast. The ones that are difficult, I'll take some time, okay? So I want you all to give me answers on the chat box. Then I know, you all know this area. Then I don't have to spend a lot of time explaining. And I'm also not a fan of, explaining these very easy concepts for a long time. I don't do that. Okay. So there are 2 branches, one is micro and the other one is macroeconomics. Can you all tell me, What does microeconomics focus on, Lamai? Do you look at a small part of the economy or do you look at the overall economy? What is microeconomics about? You focus on a small part. No, you look at about how one individual is behaving, how one business is doing, how one, let's say a product, right? What is the price of a product? What is the demand for a good? What is the income for a household? What is the cost for a firm? So you focus on Lamaya, small part of the economy. So that is what you call my microeconomics. So microeconomics is the study of individuals, households, firms, right? Where you focus on one small part. So examples including the price of a product, the demand for one good, the cost of production, scarcity. Yes, you can give things like that. Then what is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics focuses on what, Lamai? Yes, marginal cost, correct. Macroeconomics. Macroeconomics where you focus on the overall, the entire economy. No, you focus on the overall thing. You talk about, let's say, GDP of Sri Lanka, unemployment rate of Sri Lanka. You talk about, let's say, inflation rate of Sri Lanka. So, Anna, aggregate economy. Anna, that is what you call my macroeconomics. So, interest rates, the total imports are that is the difference between those two. Microeconomics focused on a small part of the economy. Macroeconomics focused on the entire economy. Now, one more thing. Listen very carefully. I sent a message on the group also. Today, at the end of this class, we have a quiz. Right? We have a quiz on Kahoot. There are, I think, 9 MCQs. The faster you answer, the more points you get. It is on the area that we are doing today. So it's on the area that we are doing today. So make sure that you get that. No, this this slides I have not printed and given. If you have my theory class note, Lama, this is the same thing that is over there. So that's why I don't print and repeat it. I will share these slides for those who don't have my theory class note or anything. If you want, you can refer to it. But otherwise, Lama, you can refer to any theory note that you have. You might be going to another class or another school. In school, you might be learning, Lama. You can refer to that. I will not duplicate a note in the revision class. Revision class, mainly the focus is on papers. I will recap the unit. I will recap the unit Taggala. I will give this note if anyone wants to, and you can get that done. Yes, we will select the top 10 of the revision papers as well as an open book. Paper, I will tell you how to do, Lamai. Okay? Right. Then, Lamai, so we know a few examples, micro and macro econ. I have given a few examples over here. You can make your own definition with keywords, no problem. So I've given something. Microecon focuses on individual markets, about the price of a product, about how one person's labor is performing, right? It's about that. Macroecon, the entire economy. We don't talk about price of one good, we talk about inflation, the price of all the goods, right? We talk about employment, unemployment rates, that we kind of know. Then Lama will go into these types of statements that is there. Now, in economics, we also have, Lamai, two types of statements. We have positive statements and we have, Lamai, normative statements. What are positive statements, Lamai? Positive statements are what? Those are facts. Anna, right? Positive statements are, Lamai, they are facts. So it is about what has happened, what might happen in the future, right? It's a fact. Positive statements, Lamai, can you prove whether this is right or wrong? Yes, they answer questions about what has happened, what learned. Correct. Can you prove? You can, Lamai. So positive statements can be proven. You can test and see whether these are right or wrong. Now, for example, Lamai, do positive statements have to be true? Does positive statements mean the statements that are true? There's nothing like that. It can be true, it can be false, Lamai. But as long as you can verify, and test and see, Anna, that is what you call, Lamai, a positive statement. For example, we can say, okay, the 4 factors of production are land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. Anna, that is a fact. Then you can say, okay, Sri Lanka's GDP growth rate is 10%. Sri Lanka's unemployment rate is 5%. If the price of a good increase, quantity demand will decrease. And those are facts, Lamai. It might be right, it might be wrong. But those are what you call, Lamai, positive statements. So they are, right, based on empirical evidence, can be tested. And they are not value judgments, Lamai. They are fact-based. Positive statements are fact-based. If that is positive statements, do you all remember, Lamai? What is normative statements, Matagada? What are normative statements? Normative statements are what? They are personal opinions. They are about what people think should happen. Now, for example, I am saying, right? I am saying everyone should come to my class to study econ. Is there a right or wrong there? No, I am saying we all should. Someone might say, no, no, there is another class, go to that class. There is a nice physical class, another online class that is there, go there. So someone might come and say, okay, every government worker, you should increase salaries by 5,000. Someone might say, no, you should not increase because they are anyway earning with bribes and all. So don't increase. So under those are my value judgments, no? Under that is what you call my sub normative statements. So normative statements are my value based, right? They are value based. They are personal opinions. Is there right or wrong here, Lamai? Can you test whether they are right or wrong? Hmm? Is there right or wrong in a normative statement? There is no right or wrong, no? You can be right, I can be right. Now, I will say, we should do this. You will say, no, no, sir, we should do this. There is no rule saying I am right, you're wrong. They are personal opinions. But these normative statements, they are personal opinions, but they are used somewhere. Where do these normative statements get broadly used? Where do you all think we use this? When doing what? Exactly, in the parliament, when doing what, Lamai? When making, Lamai, policies, when making economic policies, it's based on, Lamai, normative statement. I'll give you an example. Now, for example, Lamai, now in the parliament, Anura is coming and saying, right, Anura is saying, Api mehema karamu. We are going to, Api Janatawage, right, will say, Badu mila adu karamu, right? We'll go and reduce the electricity prices, we'll do this, we'll do that. And Anura is coming and making a statement. So he's saying we should do this. Then Anna, on the other side, Sajit is coming and saying, what is he saying? He's saying, let's say, no, no, right? People, already the government things are making losses. So we should not reduce. Then from somewhere, Namal will come and say something. He'll say, we did something like this. So those are Lamai. Now what happens? Everyone gives their opinions, right? This one says, no, no, we should do this. Example of a parliament. Then another party will come and say, no, why don't we do something like this? There is no right or wrong. They debate lamai. They will say, this is what will happen. Someone will say, no, no, we'll do it like this. So Anna, based on these normative statements, economic policies get formed. So these economic policies, based on this, is where you make all these decisions for a country, Lamai, based on this. No, today we will not do paper one, Lamai. Today I will only recap this. Next week you will do the paper and come, then I will discuss the paper. So I'll just let you know my next week what I will do. So in case you're confused, now today I am recapping this part now. So next week, Lamai, you have to do revision paper number 1. So you will do it at home. You have the printed paper. For those who don't have the printed paper, I'll send the PDF. Somehow do the paper. You will submit the paper by 6 p.m. on Tuesday. Answers. How to submit answers, I will send instructions on the WhatsApp group. After that, 7 p.m. on Tuesday next week, you will come to class. So then next week, Lamai, first thing I will do is the class, 3-hour class, I will break it into 2 parts. So the first half of the class, Lamai, I will discuss that paper, the paper that you did. So I will discuss that paper 1, revision paper 1, and then I will move into focus area 2. I will recap now, like I'm recapping focus area 1 now. I will recap focus area 2. Then the week after that, you will do the focus area 2 paper. I will recap focus area 3. So it goes on like that. So next week, just for now, remember next week, you forget about everything else. So next week by Tuesday, you have to submit revision paper 1. How to submit? I will send instructions. Then next Tuesday, what I will do, in the first 1.5 hours, I will discuss the paper 1. In the next 1.5 hours, I will recap focus area 2. And that is what we will do next week. Guys, in terms of the chat slammer, if you all can send, if you all can text on the main chat lama, it becomes easy because individual chat lama, it opens a different chat. Now when 50 people text me lama, it's a different 50 different pop-ups there. So if it's a general thing lama, you can just send it to everyone on the chat box. It's more easy. Okay. There will be a top 10 as well. Okay. So then, right. Then lama, these normative statements, also have some keywords to identify. What are the keywords? Sometimes that doesn't mean every time that word is there, it is this. Mark paper will be sent to you after marking. What are the words? It has words like we should do this, right? Should. It has words like, let's say, ought, right? Ought. It might have words like, let's say, for example, they must do this, fair, unfair, right? And those kind of things might be there, should, ought, fair, unfair. Some keywords just to, just because that word is there, that doesn't mean a must. That doesn't mean it's always a normative. But usually when you see words like that, that means it's a normative statement. Right. Done. Then now we know that. So we'll then now, yes, speed is okay, right? Very basic parts. You don't want me to go into very detail of micro, macro, positive, normative. No, that no, otherwise it gets boring if I talk about half an hour about normative statements. Okay. Right. So for the people who are learning for the first time, it might be a little fast for you, but you will get this thing. You will get the recording as well. But if you really want to catch up, my theory class recordings and tutes are there, right? You can purchase and get it done. So then we'll now get into a very important part. Goods. Now, in economics, what are goods? How do we define goods? So we say, okay, human wants could be fulfilled with goods, fine. But how do you define goods? A good is anything that provides positive utility. Anything that provides satisfaction. And that is what you call a good lamai. Now, for example, after this 3-hour class that we are doing now, right? You sacrificed all your fun meal asana poya dawase, could have gone for some dansal also, because without going to all of that, you're coming to this class. And now let's say lamai at the end of this class, if you realize lamai, Ayyo, this fellow has not taught me anything, I just wasted my time, then this is not a good lamai. This might be a bad. Take home papers, past papers, I'll let you know when to do that. For now, you can leave that. You can focus on the main paper. Okay. I'll let you know what paper as well in the group. I'll send you clear instruction. So a good is anything, lamai. Goods can be used to satisfy human wants, correct? And good is anything that provides lamai positive satisfaction. That means when you consume a good, it could be food, it could be anything. When you consume it, lamai, you should feel good. You should feel positive. You should feel that like you got something. And then only it's a good lamai. You have to feel satisfied. And that is what you call a good in economics. So then lamai, there are two types of goods. One is called non-economic goods. There are multiple names. You can call these free goods, cost-free goods, natural, not really natural. I'll cut the word natural, right? Free goods, all of that. And then you also have lamai, economic goods. So goods are of two types, non-economic and economic. So what are these, lamai? We'll go through one by one. Shall I do? Okay, we'll do economic first. What are economic goods? So goods are anything that provides positive satisfaction. Okay. Two types of goods, economic, non-economic. What are economic goods, Lamai? Yes, it has opportunity cost, but how are you going to define it? Economic goods are the goods that are what in supply? What's the key? Economic goods are the goods that are that have what, Lamai? That are scarce in supply. Goods that are scarce in supply, lamai, that are limited in supply. Scarce, another word is limited in supply. And these goods have a what, lamai? They have a what cost? There is a opportunity cost, and also what is the other cost? There is, lamai, an opportunity cost involved and a resource cost, lamai, a cost to produce it. So there is a production cost, a cost for the producer to produce. A production cost, or we call that lamai a resource cost. There is an opportunity cost and a resource cost. What about a price, lamai? Does an economic good always have a price to the consumer? Does a consumer always have to pay a price to get an economic good? A price? Mostly there is a price, but sometimes, lamai, there might be no price also. Now, for example, this class that we are doing right now. This class that I'm doing right now, Lama, it's an economic good. No, I'm using my scarce resource. We don't have unlimited classes, no limited thing. But am I charging you a class fee? No. So it's limited in supply. There is no opportunity cost in there is an opportunity cost in production. There is a production cost, a price. There could be a price. There could not be a price as well. So that's economic goods, the goods that are limited in supply. Then what are non-economic goods? If economic goods are the goods that are limited in supply, what are non-economic? Non-economic goods are the goods that are unlimited in supply. We have any amounts of those. Those are the goods that are unlimited in supply. So economic goods are the goods that are limited in supply. Non-economic goods are the goods that are unlimited in supply. You have any amount of the non-scarce. Then Lamai, these type of goods, what about the opportunity cost and a production cost? Now, examples. Now, okay, sorry, we didn't go through examples now. So examples for economic goods, goods that are limited. Can you all give me some examples? Economic, we'll go with economic first, then come to non-economic. Economic goods, some examples. Pens, books, tables, chairs, anything that is around you, balan, not the air and all. The clothes, the food that you're eating, the rice, the chair, no. Come on, my paid classes. So all of those are what? Limited, right? So the food, right? The clothes, your mobile phone. So all of those lamai are what? Economic goods. Then non-economic goods lamai are unlimited in supply. So give me some examples. Non-economic things like air, sunlight, rainwater, and all of these are my non-economic goods. Now, these things, Lamai, is there a opportunity cost of producing these, Lamai? Do you have to sacrifice something else when you're going to produce these and all? They are unlimited, no? Now, for example, opportunity cost we'll learn next class. For those who are a little confused, don't worry. That's our next focus area. So there is no opportunity cost involved. Is there a Lamai production cost? Do you have a cost to produce sunlight? Do you have a cost to produce rainwater? No. So no opportunity cost, no production cost. What about the price, Lamai? Is there a price involved? There is no price. Now, do you have to pay money to breathe the oxygen? Do you have to pay money to get some sunlight? So there is zero price. So no price involved. So that is what you call a non-economic good. Goods that are unlimited in supply. Zero price, no cost, no production cost, no opportunity cost. Things like rain, sunlight, and this. And all of this time, one more thing that you can figure out. Are these man-made or gifted by nature? Non-economic. What do you think? Look at the examples, you can figure this out. Are they man-made or gifted by nature? They're gifted by nature, right? Most of it is gifted by nature. Most of it, everything is gifted by nature. It's unlimited, no man. So nothing that is man-made will ever be unlimited. No? So maybe you can even give that as a characteristic. So you can say it's gifted by nature. Anna that. So then, if I am to quickly summarize the three things that I told you. First thing I told you, Lamai, what are goods? Goods are anything that provides positive satisfaction. That means if you consume a good, you feel good, you feel satisfied. There are two types, economic and non-economic. What are economic goods? Economic goods are the goods that are limited in supply. You don't have unlimited amount, are limited. Those are called economic goods. So economic goods, to produce it, there is a cost of production, there is a resource cost, there is an opportunity cost involved. Opportunity cost we'll learn next class, right? Then price, there might be a price, there might sometimes not be a price. So price is not a definite characteristic there. And then what about examples, things like food and all of that? Then what are non-economic goods? Non-economic goods are the goods that are unlimited in supply. Oh, na tarang diye na, right? Sunlight, rain, air, right? All of that. You have any amount of that. Now there is no opportunity cost, no production cost, no price as well. Then the next thing that I'm going to ask you is, can we convert an economic good to a non-economic good? What do you think? Economic good, a good that is limited in supply and all, can you convert this to a non-economic? Yes or no? Economic to non-economic. Can we do? We can't. Can't convert that. Right? Once a good has been produced, lama, using scarce resources, once you have a limited amount of it, lama, it will never become unlimited. No? So it's you can't undo anything. Can you do the other way? Can you convert a non-economic good like sunlight, rainwater, air, right? Something like that. Can you convert that into lamai an economic good? What do you all think? Eka puluwanda barita. Can we do that? Yes or no? That you can, no? Can you all give me an example, lamai? This we can do. Can you give me an example? Water. Now, the rainwater, the water that you have in Lamai rivers and all, they are unlimited, non-economic. But if that same water, if you purify it, put it into a bottle and give Lamai, Anna, that becomes economic, no? There is a production cost, limited, that is there. What about the oxygen that we are breathing? The oxygen that we are right now breathing, Lamai, is unlimited. Oh, na tarang oxygen, no? But what if you put this oxygen into a tank and give a patient or give it to, let's say, a person who is diving? Then what happens, Lamai? Non-economic converted to economic. What about the sunlight? Exactly. Now, sunlight that we are getting is unlimited. But you put that into, absorb that into a solar panel, make, let's say, solar energy. Then that is limited, Lamai. So remember, even though you can't convert economic to non-economic, right? A limited good, you can't ever make it unlimited. But something that is unlimited, a non-economic good, you can convert it to economic. So here I've given some examples. Oxygen used by a diver when diving, oxygen given to patients, solar panels with solar power, bottled water. So all of this, you've taken a non-economic good and converted it into an economic good. Anna, that is the story there. Shape that we know. Is that okay with the goods part? Shape. We know the story, yeah? Right. Now, then we'll go into an economic bad. Now, if an economic good is something that provides positive satisfaction. Now, in a good lamai, when you consume, you feel good about it. No? You're happy about it. If that is a good, what is a bad? A bad is something that provides what? A bad is something that provides lamai disutility. It provides negative value. It provides lamai disutility or negative satisfaction. So I'll give you an example. My example I have given here is garbage. Now, when you have something like garbage, the presence of it, the existence of garbage itself, do you feel good about it? Do you feel good when you have so much of garbage in your house? No. You will pay money to get rid of it, no? So can you give me more example? Diseases, yes, like COVID-19, all of those diseases. Anything else? Snow. Yes, maybe your spoiled food. You can put that, let's say that's also garbage. Any pollution, right? Any air pollution, air pollution, air pollution, all of it, spoiled food, yes. So all of those, Lamai, you can give us what? Examples for economic bad. And a very interesting thing that you have, Lamai, economic bads. What about the price for economic bads, Lamai? What can you tell about the price? Now, for economic goods, Lamai, we'll talk about drugs. Interesting story. There is, Lamai, a negative price. That's a very interesting characteristic. Not that there is zero price, there is a negative price. What is this negative price? How can the price be negative? What does that mean, Lamai? Negative price. Right, Lamai. Negative price කියන්නේ you will pay money. You will pay money to get rid of it. Get rid of it. Now, usually, people pay money, Lamai, to buy a good no man. You go to Cargill's, pay money, buy milk powder, buy an ice cream. You pay money, buy a cigarette. But economic bads lamai, you will pay money not to buy. You will pay money. Tell that person to take it and go. Ani meka arang yanna. Please take this and go. I don't want. I will give you money. Take this and go. That's what you do for garbage. Every month lamai, you'll give a small amount for the guy who comes to collect garbage. Right? You have to give. You give the fellow, then the fellow comes and he also. Have you all noticed lamai hamadama on the last day of the month or the first day of the following month? They will definitely come to collect garbage. Have you all noticed? Forget about the other days. Some days you can't even find the fellow. Right? But on the last day of the month, the fellow is definitely there. There's another day that is definitely there. What is that day? Right, on festival days. So depending on, when you have your festival, right? For them, every hour they want something, no? How we think, give something, that's not a problem. But why are you paying them, Laman? You're paying them to take your garbage and go, no? Then think about diseases. You pay money, Lama, you go to the doctor, you pay money, and you pay money to get rid of it. You tell, Ane, doctor, may take this disease away from me. That's what you do. So then the question is, Nama, what about things like cigarettes, drugs, alcohol? Are they economic bads? Now, cigarettes, like drugs, you have this ganja and heroin and all of that, alcohol. Are they economic bads, Lamai? Think about that price aspect. You can figure that out. Do cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, Lamai, do you pay money to get rid of it? Will you go to the Kade Mudalali and tell, Ane, take this money and take my cigarette also and go? Will you go to Cargill's in the bar and say, Ane, take this money and take this bottle of alcohol also and go? No, right? You will, Lamai, pay money to buy it, no? Don't you think? You will go to Lamai a shop, pay money and buy a cigarette. You will illegally find a fellow and pay money and buy some drugs. You will go to the bar and somehow pay money and buy a bottle of alcohol, Lamai. So these are Lamai economic goods. They are not bads. So just cause Lamai it is bad for health, that doesn't mean it's economic bad. Always think of that price aspect, Lamai. If you are paying a price to buy something, that means, Lamai, that is giving you some satisfaction. Otherwise, you won't pay a price. No? Why are you paying money and buying something? Because it might be giving you some benefit. No? Maybe, Lamai, when you smoke, you might be, I don't know, you might be feeling relaxed. Maybe in a cold country, they smoke to feel warm. Sri Lanka, I don't know why they smoke, but maybe you feel relaxed. Maybe you feel like the poorer. Maybe you pay money and get some drugs too. I don't know, do some other nonsense. Because you're getting something, Nilama, you're paying money. So whenever you pay money, right, to get something, Anna, that is Lamai, a economic good there. So remember, cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, they are not economic bads. These are all economic goods, but they are Lamai creating a negative impact. No? So we call them Lamai demerit goods. We'll learn demerit goods Lamai in unit number 8. Well, right? Unit number 8, I'll teach you all demerit goods. We'll learn it there. Don't worry about that too much. But remember, they are not economic bad. Now, even snow. Now, in Sri Lanka, Lamai, we might pay money and go to this snow world and this and that. But in reality, Lamai, in other countries, they pay money, Lamai, to get rid of snow. Have you all seen those huge trucks that are clearing the roads when there is snow, right? They put heaters and all in their houses. Now, Lamai, that is something that we actually don't appreciate, right? In Sri Lanka, right? We keep on scolding our country, but our climate and all, Lamai, is 1,000 times better than other countries. If you go to countries in Europe or even if you go to Middle Eastern countries, they also have winter and summer. If you go to even like countries like Dubai, during winter, Dubai is also so cold. During summer, Dubai is around 50 degrees Celsius, 40, 50. So those are crazy. Now, ours, Hamadam, it's between around 20, 30 degrees we have. Right? Some days it's a little hot, 35, 36, Some days it's around 24, 25. So in Sri Lanka, weather and all is much, much better, even though you don't realize it. Yes, exactly. You have desert storms and all of that in those Middle Eastern countries. So, and especially if you take even Europe and all, why do you think, Lamai, why do you think in Sri Lanka, why is December and January the peak tourism season? Why is that? Why can't it be April and May? Why can't it be August or something? Why is it this? Because of winter, exactly. Because it's so cold in those countries, they can't stay, Lamai. They will pay money to somehow get rid of their country and come to Sri Lanka and wait. Aren't? See, those are economic bets. That is where that connects. Okay, done. Then we have the last part, Lamai. Last part, we have another half to go. That is on the resources. Now we learned the goods part of it. We can quickly go through now the resources side of things. Lamai, how are these goods produced? Now these goods don't fall from the sky, Lamai. Now if you take a laptop, a phone, even those cigarettes that we were talking about, those are goods, no? How do you produce goods, Lamai? What do you need to produce goods? You need some sort of resources, some sort of inputs, right? Otherwise, how do you produce goods? So what are resources, Lamai? Resources, we say, are the inputs used to produce goods and services. Resources are the inputs used to produce goods and services. Now, these resources also, there are two types. What are the two types? You have, Lamai, economic and non-economic resources. Economic resources and non-economic resources. Now, what are economic resources? Economic resources are same as before, right? Economic කියන්නේ limited. What are economic resources? Resources that are limited in supply, lamai. They are limited in supply. When you use those resources, there is an opportunity cost. Example, a land, fuel, maybe machinery, maybe lamai labor, all of those are economic resources. We have limited amounts of those. Then what are non-economic resources? Non-economic resources are the resources that are non-scarce, unlimited in nature. We have all the tarang those lamai. Things like what? Things like again, sunlight, air, and rainwater. Now you might have lamai a small confusion now. For non-economic goods also, I gave examples as sunlight, air, rainwater. For non-economic resources also, I gave examples as sunlight, air, rainwater. What's the problem there? How does the example be the same? So we use your resources, Lamine. Your resources goes through some level of some sort of production process. Some sort of production process. And that is how it becomes a good. Now, if you take my economic resources, so economic resources like what? Like land, labor, maybe some machine, right? These kind of things. It goes through a production process, and as a result, what happens, Lamai? You end up producing economic goods. Economic goods like what? Economic goods like uh, tables, phones, laptops, things like that. Examples were different. But if you took Lamai, if you took non-economic resources, I gave you examples saying sunlight, air, rainwater, things like that. For non-economic goods also, I'm giving you the same examples. Why is that, Laman? For non-economic goods also, the examples are the same. Sunlight, rainwater, air. What's the problem there? Why? Because, Lamai, there is no production process, no? Is there a production process to produce sunlight? Now, resources that go into a production process, Tamai Lamai, becomes a good. So, non-economic resources that it's man-made, goes into a production process, becomes an economic good. But if you take non-economic resources, Lamai, there is no production. Do you produce sunlight? Do you produce oxygen? Do you produce rainwater? No. So when there is no production process, Lamai, the resource and the good is the same, no? A resource that goes into the production process is what becomes the good. So here, when there is no production process, the resource and the good become the exact same thing. Because these are Lamai gifted by nature. We are not producing, there is no, it's not man-made. So therefore, that is that. Right. What about fruits? Fruits will be Lamai. economic. You don't have unlimited fruits. So it will be an economic thing. Fuel, labor, and all. Yes, fuel, labor, and all are correct examples for economic resources. Yeah. So economic resources lamai are mainly your 4 factors of production. The ones that are limited: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Those are your economic resources. So production resources can be classified into 2, economic and non-economic. Food will be economic good lamai. Limited lamai. Economic resources, yes. So land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, all of that will be economic resources. Correct. Then lamai, now what we'll do is we'll move into the economic resources a little bit more in detail. So economic resources, the ones that are limited, that is what you call lamai your factors of production. So we'll quickly run through this now. The 4 factors of production, most of this you know, you can give me answers lamai. So you all know your economic resources or your factors of production are mainly divided into 4: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. But can you tell me, before you divide it into land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, there is another classification that could come before that, Lamai. How do you classify? Before land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. You can classify, Lamai, your factors of production as human resources, and property resources. From your 4 factors, Lamai, which ones are the human resources? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, which ones are the human ones? Labor and entrepreneurship. Which one is the property resource? Land and capital. So remember that. In case, instead of just classifying as land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, you can classify it as human resources and you can classify it as property resources. Okay. Then coming into Lamai, the economic resources, we have what? We'll start with land, right? We'll go in now. Remember, Lamai, economic resources kya the resources that are limited in nature. They are limited, and that's how it goes. Then, give me a second, there are some difference between goods and resources. Lamai, so goods is the product, final good. Resources are the inputs used to produce the good. That's the difference between a good and a resource. Okay. Is chats my product try to send it on the main. This one I might miss it. For economic reason, it should be used land. Used land, anything is okay. There is no rule saying it has to be used land. So I have given used land. Yeah, used land, normal plot of land, anything is okay. Okay. Now, right. Then coming into my land now. What is land here? So when you say land is Lamai all the natural resources. Okay. But remember, Lamai, they have to be limited. So land is, remember, we are talking about economic reason. Economic resources that are limited in nature. So any natural resource that is limited in nature that we can use in the production process, Lamai, is what you call land. So for example, now you can cut maybe oceans, oceans and all are product unlimited. No? You can cut air as well. So you can take, for example, animals. Now you use animals for production. Now, for example, think of cows to make milk on the land. Think of Lamai trees. Think of Lamai the different minerals like steel, coal, fuel, this what crude oil. So and all of those Lamai are what? They are natural resources, but they are limited in nature. Unlimited. You have limited amounts of these kind of things. So that is the story there. So then, if you're looking at the characteristics of this, what type of things do we have as characteristics? Number 1, we say Lamai being a gift of nature. That means it is not man-made. These animals, trees, minerals, we don't make by ourselves, Lamai. Those are gifted by nature. Animals will fall under land. Yeah, for animals, yes, the mobility characteristic is there, but in general, if you take land, they are immobile. Okay. Then Lamai, we say supply being inelastic. What does that mean? We say the supply of land is inelastic. Now, a rubber band, Lamai, we call a rubber band elastic because you can easily change it. No, rubber band is called elastic because you can pull and change and do all of it. Why is land inelastic then, Lamai? Because, Lamai, you can't increase the amount of land easily, no? Now, can you increase the amount of trees tomorrow? To plant a tree and grow it and for it to come, it will take time. Can you increase the amount of a goal that is there? No, no. It might not be perfectly inelastic, but it is inelastic. It's difficult to increase. You can increase. You can plant some trees in a few years, you might get it. But it's difficult. That is why we say supply is inelastic. So what does that mean, Lamai? It's difficult to increase the amount of land available. That is what that means. It's difficult to increase. You can't easily go and increase the number of trees or rivers, or you can't easily do that. And then we also say, Lama, immobility. What does that mean? We talk about geographical immobility. That means that you can't move it around, no? Now, can you move a river from one place to another place? Can you move a coconut tree from one place to another place? Exception is Lama, animals. Like someone pointed in the chat box also. Now, animals, yes, can move around. But in general, if you take land, Lama, they are geographically immobile. So you can't move it from one place to another. And then, Lama, you have the possibility to improve productivity. How do you improve the productivity of land? How can you improve the productivity of land, Lama? How can you get more output with the same amount of input? Maybe, Lama, if it's agriculture or something, you can use fertilizer. You can use things like that, right? Using fertilizer. Lama, do you all remember this? Did I tell you all this story in the theory class about how the world food shortage was solved? Did I tell you all that story? No? The world food shortage? Yes, some people, yes, some people. Okay, so I'll quickly wrap that story. All right. Connecting to the productivity point, if you all realize, Lamai, around 100, 200 years ago, in the world, the population was rapidly increasing. World's population was rapidly going up, Lamai. Population was increasing. Now, when the population increases, Lamai, now you want more food. No? The demand for food is also rising. So this world, not just Sri Lanka, in the entire world, population is rising in the 1700s, 1800s, right? Population is rising. The demand for food is increasing. Along with that, Lamai, the land available for agriculture is now decreasing because more and more people can live. Now you will have to make houses, right? You will have to cut down agriculture land. So there was a problem there, right? More and more people. Now you need more and more food, but the land available for food is also now coming down because they are building houses and all of it. So the world was heading towards Lamai a food shortage, right? The entire world, I mean Sri Lanka anyway, they were heading towards a food short. Now, especially if you take things like paddy. Now, paddy is one of the main crops, no? So with paddy, Tamai, you have rice, right? You get the flour. With the flour, Tamai, you can make buns or whatever that you have. So that's a big crop. So now there is a shortage of this, Tamai. How was this solved? Now, right now, we don't have this world food shortage. Now, right now, the population is even more. Population is even more. Land available for agriculture is reduced even more. So how did they solve this? Under 200 years ago, there was this world food shortage. How was it solved? You know what happened? They, at that time, Lamai, 100, 200 years ago, this paddy crop, the paddy tree that was there, the plant, okay, the small paddy plant, that was there, Lamai, is not very strong. It's a plant, Lamai, easily that gets caught for diseases. Easily, if a bit of a rain comes, the whole crop is gone. Easily a pest attacks, the whole thing is gone. So it was not a very strong crop. So in the world, Amma, in different regions, different crops had different issues, right? So maybe I don't know exactly what issues. Maybe like for example, Amma, the crop in let's say Asia, the paddy crop in Asia easily gets attacked by pests. Maybe the crop in, let's say, Europe and all, it can't stand the weather. Poddak cold unama finished. Maybe the crops in, let's say, in America and all, maybe a little bit of rain it finished. So every crops lama had some sort of issue. So you know what they did? They got all of these samples of all of these crops, and what they did is they produced a genetically modified crop. So they put it into a lab. They put it into a lab. That is science lama, that is not econ. So they put these crops into a lab and they looked at what are the good strong characteristics of each crop. They got those. I don't know how they did it lama. They got those together and made a proper strong paddy plant lama. And now, even now, what is being planted in Sri Lanka to what is being planted in the entire world is that genetically modified crop. So now maybe lama earlier, like maybe, right? So maybe lama earlier, if that small paddy crop gave, let's say, 10 grains of rice, now this strong paddy crop gives around 200 grains of rice. So that's how lama the world food shortage was solved. Now, what is that? That is how lama you improve productivity. You didn't increase the number of paddy plants. With the same paddy plant, you got a higher output. Anna, that's what you read. That's the same story, Lama. Now that is a more old example. How many of you Lama have a bud plant in your house? A bud plant, those small trees that give a lot of fruits and all. Not those big mango trees, never a bud tree. Do you all have one? Yes, maybe a fruit hari, mukak hari ekak. What are those? Those are also same thing, Lama, genetically modified crops. Now, if you take Lama, a normal mango tree, huge, no man, huge tree, right? It will take around 10 years for it to grow and get fruits and all of that. What did the people do, Lamai? Because now with so much of urbanization, there is no space. People don't have that huge gardens like they had around 50 years ago. Now houses are small, gardens are small. So Anna, they came up with what? A genetically modified bud plant. It will give you the same amount of fruits, but in a lesser time period. Maybe in like 2 years, it will start giving fruits, 2, 3 years. And it's a smaller tree compared. I'm not small, can be mature size. Compared to the big tree, it's much more smaller. And that is improving productivity. So using fertilizer, using these genetically modified crops, all of that, right, increases productivity of land. That's a few examples there. And then the next category, non-uniform. Land is not the same. One river is not the same as another river. One tree is not the same as another one. Okay, it varies exactly. It differs from one to another. And finally, you have now we say the payment for land being rent. That is, if you provide land as a factor of production, the money that you get in return is called rent. Okay, done. So that's land, lamai shape. Then we'll move into lamai labor. What is labor? Labor, we say, is the mental and physical efforts of human beings. Mental and physical efforts that we use to produce goods. So labor namai is a life factor. No? It's a living person. And also we say there is mobility. Mobility in the form of geographical mobility. Geographical mobility namai means you can move from place to place. Okay. Even if it is sold, yeah. So the money that you get in return is called rent. Usually we don't look at sale, we look at just giving. So you have geographical mobility. You can move from place to place. Now, even if you take this class, there is no rule saying I have to do this class here at home. No, I can go and do this class anywhere else. And I don't have to do class. I can go and work somewhere else. So I can go here and there and get my work done. Under geographical mobility. And along with that, you also have Lamai occupational mobility. What is occupational mobility? You don't have to do the same job, no? You can do so many different things. Now, for example, I don't have to only be teaching. I work as an economist full time as well. And I can do that job. Maybe if I don't like teaching, next year I will stop and I will go do something else. I'll become, let's say, a graphic designer. Maybe I'll be a software engineer. So people have occupational mobility. You can do different. So we say overall, labor is mobile. And then heterogeneity. That means it is different. Your physical and mental efforts are not the same as my physical and mental effort. I might be good at something, you might be good at something else. So we are different. And then you can improve productivity of labor through education, through training and all of it. You can improve productivity. Labor is able to make decisions, organize things, do all of it. And the return for labor is what we call wages. That's also okay. Is that fine, Lama? Is land and labor okay? Yeah. Just a quick recap. I'm trying to recap this in around 1.5 hours. Theory class again, I would have taken around 4 hours to teach you this whole thing. 4 hours. I would have taken around 3 classes, 6 hours to teach you this whole thing. So what I would have taught you all in around 6 hours, I'm trying to summarize in this. So it will be a little fast, but it won't be that hard, Lama, as long. Some basic areas, no, we can get it done. Then we'll move into Lama capital. Now, what is capital? Capital we say other. Now listen, and these things will come up in your quiz at the end of the class. Okay. What is capital? Capital we say is Lamai, the man-made things, right? Whatever that is made by man, that can be used to produce a good or service, that can be used in the production process is what we call capital. So example, yes, buildings, machines, equipment, tools. Now even my laptop, I'm using this to do my class right now. Unlike capital, right? If you take Wi-Fi, capital. Now this tute that I am giving you, my capital. Man-made thing that is helping me provide this service. Because you have a tute, now you know what to do, you know the papers to get done, you can get it done. And then we say capital is a real factor. That means other factors are fake. What does real factor mean, Lamai? So labor is fake then, no? What is real? Real mean, you can physically see it is there. Now you take a machine, take a building, right? It can be seen, you can touch it, you can feel it. So it's a real tangible thing, Lama. It's not like money, or it's not like, physical mental effort. Never. It's a real tangible thing that is there. And we call it a real factor. And then we also say, Lama, capital is a stock factor. What is this stock factor? I would have taught you all, Lamai, in economics, Matakada, stock and flow concepts. Stock concepts and flow concepts. What are stock concepts? Stock concepts are things that can be measured at a given point of time, right? So you can measure is those who have my theory class notes, Lamai, while I am recapping this, you open the theory class tutor. That's what I forgot to tell you. You all have my theory class too, so most of you all are there. No? So open that unit 1 theory class note and follow with that. It's the same thing that is there here. So if I am giving you anything additional, just note it down. You don't have to duplicate another note. So get your theory unit 1 tute out and get it done. So even if you don't have my tute, if you have another tute that you are studying, the structure will be the same. So product, if there is anything that I am saying newly here that is not in that tute, jot it down, Lamai. So then have the whole point is, Lamai, to have one complete note rather than, having 10 different notes, then you don't know what to study. So what is a stock concept again? The stock concept is something that you can measure at a point of time. This is, Lamai, measured. A flow concept is something that you measure for a period of time. Period of time. I'll give you some examples. Now, Lamai, if you take my, let's say, salary. Yeah, a simple example, salary. Now, my salary, can I say my salary as at 10th June 9:15 p.m. is 100,000? Or can I say my salary for the month of June is 100,000? Which one is correct? Can I say exactly at this point my salary is 100,000, or can I say for the month of June my salary is 100,000? Correct to say for a month, no? For this period, my salary is 100,000. So that means now my salary is a flow concept. Yes, salary is a flow concept. What about my bank balance? Can I say my bank balance for the month of June is 100,000? Or is it correct to say my bank balance as at 10th June 9:15 p.m. is 100,000? Exactly at this point, I can tell you, how much my bank balance is. So bank balance, right? Or let's say your wealth, and that is lamai a stock concept. That's the difference. So a stock concept is something that you can say exactly at this point of time, how much do you have? A flow concept is something you measure for a period of time. Now, if you take, let's say, Sri Lanka's GDP, do we say, Lamai, right? Do we say Sri Lanka's GDP for as at 31st December is this much? Or do we say Sri Lanka's GDP for the month, for the year of 2024 is this? We say for a period, no, for a year. So GDP again, flow concept. Again, am I repeating? I think if you have missed, please listen. There is no printed tute lamai for the revision class. Note kind of a tute is not there. I think I told you this around 3 times. I will share the slides if you all want. It's the same content that is there in my theory class tute. So I'm not duplicating another tute lamai because that's just duplicating and you then have two things just to study. It's the same thing. So you can refer to your normal theory tute for the notes. For the revision class, if you don't have my theory note, I will share these slides. It's the same thing in a summarized format. Otherwise, you can get the theory tute and get that. In the revision class, we'll mainly focus on the paper. This is just a recap that I'm doing. So there is no separate printed note that I have given for this. Okay. Class, yes, is from 7 to 10. So then if you take capital, now capital is a stock factor. Now capital lamai, exactly at this point of time, we can say lamai how much of capital we have. Now if you ask me, sir, what is the, now if you go for a factory, you can exactly count and see exactly at this point of time they have how many machines. So let's say they have 100 machines. So exactly as at 10th June, these people have 100 machines. So stock factor, exactly at a point of time, you can say how much you have. That's why we say lamai capital is a stock factor, can be measured for a given point of time. And then capital consists of productivity. You can improve the productivity of capital with latest technology and all of it. You can use capital again and again. It doesn't finish. Even if you take, let's say, a laptop. For every class I do, I don't buy a new laptop. I use my same laptop again and again and again. And then, but if I use my same laptop again and again and again, what would happen to my laptop down the line with time? Yes, I can use it again and again, correct. But what happens to it? Do you think my laptop will be the same as it was in the first day? No. It will start depreciating. The value will go down. It will start getting slow. Battery life gets bad. So that's why we say possibility to depreciate. And then we say, the return on capital is called interest. If you give capital as a factor of production, the return that you get, the money that you get is called interest. Now, if I have a building, let's say I provide that building as a factor of production. Now, in our real world, we call it rent. No? So if you provide your building, the money that you get, we call that interest in this economic terms. What does consist of productivity again means, Lamai? That means you can improve productivity. So if you want, for example, your capital with the latest technology and all of that, you can improve productivity. Now, for example, Lamai, sometimes you might have a very slow laptop, very hard to get work done. But if you buy a faster laptop, buy a newer laptop, now you become more productive. With the same one, now you can do more work. And that is what that thing is. Labor is not a real fact, Lama, because labor is not the person. Labor is the physical and mental effort of the person. That's why for labor, we don't say it's a real fact. For capital, we say it's a real fact. It's a tangible, real thing that you can see. A machine you can see, physically see. The physical and mental effort of the person you can't see. The person you can see, I agree. Right? But the effort is what labor is. Okay? That. Land also, to most of it you can say, but some of it you can't, Lama. Sales. Yeah, sales also will be a flow concept. You can say your sales for this month is this month. That is more correct. What are examples for flow concepts in terms of man-made ends? Flow concepts, flow things are that you can measure for a period of time. So a country's GDP, salaries, let's say, for example, other things like what? Let's say Sri Lanka's inflation rate, right? So those things, for a period of time, you can say for the month of January, Sri Lanka's inflation is this. For 2024, Sri Lanka's economic growth rate is this. Our GDP is this. So for a period. But exactly at this point, if you're saying, then that is a stock concept. That is what it is. How does it help with production? It doesn't help with production now. We are just talking about the characteristics of capital. So we are saying capital is a stock concept. Capital is something that you can measure at a given point of time. So at a point of exactly at this point of time, I can say I have 100 machines. So you can exactly measure. Right. Okay. Consists of productive, I just re-explained because you asked me. I'll come to it if you missed it again. I'll come to it then. Then moving into entrepreneurship. So we had land, labor, capital. And the last one that we have is entrepreneurship. So who is an entrepreneur? Now, this land, labor, capital entrepreneurship that we talked about, can these Lamai work alone on its own? Can this whole land, labor, capital entrepreneurship, can you produce a good with only land? Can you produce a good with only capital? Types of capital come, that's the next. Can you produce a thing with only machines? No, right? Land, labor, capital, all of it has to work together. So who puts all these together, Lamai? Who gets this land, labor, combines all of them and gets something done? Anna, that is the fellow who you call the entrepreneur. So an entrepreneur is the person who combines all the factors of production. Now just think of this class, Lama. Can I do this class alone without a laptop, without a Wi-Fi, without a table, without a room like this? I can't. Can this class only be done without me? Can only this laptop and table do the class? No. So you need to have someone, Lama, to get everything together, no? Someone to tell the labor, come and do this, use this machine like this, do this. So put everything together. You need to have something. Anna, that is what you call my entrepreneurship. So entrepreneur is someone who combines all the factors of production together. And he organizes production activity. He bears a risk as well. Why does an entrepreneur bear a risk? What is the risk part of it? Why do we say entrepreneur bears a risk? If you look at all the others, they have a guaranteed return. If you provide land, definitely you will get rent. You provide labor, you will get wages. You provide capital, you get interest. Just because you're an entrepreneur, does that mean that you will definitely get a profit? The return is profit, but is that guaranteed? No. Sometimes you might get a profit, sometimes you might end up making a loss. So there is no guarantee that you will make a profit. Anna, that's why we say entrepreneur bears a risk. And then I've given a few functions performed by entrepreneur. What does an entrepreneur do? He mobilizes the factor of production. Mobilizes means gets everything together, combines. He gets all the factors of production together and he makes the policy decisions. Policy decisions and the main decisions, right? Not a regular day-to-day even anyway, but the big ones. What are the products we have to produce? How do we produce it, right? Which markets are we going to sell to? Those key decisions, exactly. Those are policy one. Then an entrepreneur organizes the production activities. He comes up with new innovations and he also bears tricks. So those are the functions that you can give for an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, it could be an existing business, it could be a new. It doesn't have to always be something that is innovative, right? It could be even be a same thing, but someone who combines the factors together is what we call an entrepreneur. Yeah? Yes, new ideas will also definitely have a lot of risk. And then characteristics of an entrepreneur, those are very basic stuff that you all can even have a read. So we say it's a human factor, a generating force. He's the one who gets everything to it. He's the one who starts the things. And then apart from that, normal general characteristics is what we talk about. Entrepreneur is a person with positive thinking. He has a lot of ideas. He is creative. What's the factor payment, Lamai? What's the return for entrepreneurship? The return that you get is called profit. But that doesn't mean profits are always guaranteed. It could even become a loss as well. But in general, we say profit. Okay, done. So those are the four main factors of production. Those are the economic resources that are out there. Is that okay, Lama? Basic story shaped. Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Good. Nice. Then we'll come into lamai the different types of capital. Now, this types of capital is not a very important part. So I will put the go a little bit more quickly. In the theory class, we will have maybe gone through in detail. It's not a very important part, not a part that they always test. Very rarely it shows up in the paper, but good to know. So, Lamai, if you take capital, there are different forms. First one is what you call fixed capital. What is fixed capital? Fixed capital is lamai the durable capital goods. So durable capital goods that you can use for a long period. So things like lamai machines, right? Buildings. Now those are what we call fixed capital, right? Physical capital, real capital. Anna, that is what fixed capital. What is circulating capital? Circulating capital is lamai your raw materials, right? Your raw materials, your semi-finished goods, right? Those are the goods that are work in progress. Your finished goods, all of that is what you call your circulating capital. Now, take for example, take a let's say take a cyber card for example. We'll take below a cyber card that is selling kottu. Okay, like let's say a kottu and a roti and all of that. Can you tell me what are their raw materials? What are the raw materials they would have? Let's say flour, definitely flour, vegetables, onions, carrot, tarava, meva, oil, vegetables, all of those, right? Raw material. Can you tell me, Lamai, some of their semi-finished goods? Soil, I don't know, maybe yes, sometimes might. What happens, Lamai? Take Lamai, have you all seen, right? I would have given this example in theory class also. Matakada. The whole kottu roti process. When a kottu roti is being made, Lamai, they never have he doesn't make the roti from scratch. No? Have you all seen there is that big bucket with all those small kottuk, the roti cut and put? Have you all seen the fellow next to his station? He has all the vegetables also that he has cut and kept. Have you all seen? And those are semi-finished goods. They are not raw materials. They are not finished also. So cut, the cut roti, the cut vegetables, all of that goes there. And then, what are the finished goods? Maybe the kottu. The kottu nang they might not have a finished version itself. Sometimes usually they put and give. But take paratha. Paratha, you have a finished good, no? Short eats, right? You have finished good. You go to buy another gal, he will give. So understand? Now, why is that circulating capital important, Laman? Why is this capital important? Because having circulating capital ensures lamai a smooth production process to make sure that your business smoothly functions. Now, just imagine lamai you go to a bakery to buy a roll. If at that point only the fellow is putting it into the oven and baking your roll low, how long that would take? Now, even think lamai, even when I'm doing this class, do you think for every student that joins, I call my printing guy and tell ane me thawe ekkenek join vela poddak tute ekak print කරලා දෙන්න. Do you think every time a student registers to my class, I call my printing guy to print a tute? No. I have a set of tutes that I have printed. And then when you all join Taggala, it gets couriered. So what is that? That is, I have a stock of finished goods. Because I have that, I can soon get this class done. Because otherwise, I have to call my printer guy. Printer will take time to print. Maybe, let's say the printer guy doesn't have raw materials. Let's say when I call my printing guy to print a tute, he is calling his paper supplier to buy papers. So imagine how long that would take then. I call my printer guy calls the paper supplier and tell Lani give some papers, may Arshad sir get you take a print can. Then it will take, let's say, 2 weeks to get a tute printer. But when you have those raw materials, my printing guy has his paper ready. I have the tutes ready. So production process is much more smooth, It's much more smooth, much more fast. And that is why having that circulating capital limit is very important when it comes to a business. Okay, done. Then we have this economic overhead capital. Who is this fellow in the cartoon? Oh, the man. Someone you all know? Relative? Who is this? This is our former president, Mahinda Rajapaksa. Why did I put this fellow's cartoon in this economic overhead capital story? Yes, the Kaputa's brother, though. Why is it put? What is economic overhead capital now? Yes, exactly. Upwards. The capital goods that are used, that help with the production and the distribution of goods and services. The capital goods that help with the production and distribution of goods and services, what we call economic overhead capital. So examples, these things like highways, right? Highways, airports, right? The harbors, we call it ports, right? The roads, the telecommunication networks, right? So all of those, Lamai, are what we call economic overhead capital. So this whole concept of Lamai, what Mahinda wanted to do at back in the time, his thinking is correct. Right? Building these harbors, building the ports, building the highways. Yes, thinking is correct. How he did it is questionable with the whole corruption and all. But why do you build this, Lamai? Why do you build all these highways, airports, and all of it? Yes, it facilitates the production of goods and services, right? But why? Because only if you have proper economic overhead capital, this economic infrastructure, and then only, you will be able to attract what? You will be able to, attract investments. Do you think, a foreign company will come and invest in a country that doesn't have a proper airport? Do you think a foreign company will come and invest in a country that doesn't have a proper road to transport their raw materials? No. So you need to have, you need to have that proper economic infrastructure if you want to get investments, or even private local investments, or even foreign investments to come in, this infrastructure has to be, that is why that is important. Then we have another type of capital, that is social overhead capital. What is that? That is, whatever capital goods that help with the satisfaction of a basic human need. For example, schools for education, hospitals for healthcare. Let's say a library for education. Maybe your drainage system. Now think, that is something that no one appreciates, no? Now think of all the dirty water in your house, all the things that you flush down your toilet. Where does it go, Lama? There are proper pipelines, proper drainage systems for that to go out of your house, no? It doesn't stay stuck inside your house, no? So, Anna, that is satisfying a basic human need to have a clean, proper house. So, all of those are what we call a social overhead capital. These hospitals, schools, medical centers, libraries, the drainage system, satisfying a basic human need level. Anna, social overhead capital. Several equipment, yes, you can take. Then, mainly, yes, limited to kind of services. And then you have human capital. Now, human capital is a little different from the other types of capital. Why? All the other types of capital are tangible, real things. But human capital is not that. What is human capital? Human capital is the knowledge, the skills, the experience, the favorable health, right? That your labor has. And that is what you call a human capital. Machines using hospitals is social overhead. It could be both. So there is no rule saying that one has to come only under one thing here. Now, good example. Now, if you take, let's say, a machine in a hospital, right? So it could be social overhead capital. It could also be fixed capital. There is no rule saying that it has to only come under this scale. Okay, it could come under multiple categories. Yes, so who are the people with high levels of human capital? So very experienced university lecturers, these high-level doctors, right? All of them. Okay. So human capital, remember, is not a tangible thing, It's the knowledge, skills, experience, and all that people have. And then finally, you have natural capital. So natural capital is Now, if you take, for example, paddy fields, dams. So this is connected with nature, but there is some level of human involvement. It's not, now if it is completely natural, it has to be land, no? But there is some level of human involvement. Now, for example, a paddy field is nature, but we are the ones who produced it. Let's say something like a dam, right? So maybe some of these examples of land and all you can remove, right? Maybe air, water you can, but it's not the pure air, right? It's not. Now, for example, the air put into, let's say, an oxygen tank could be natural capital. Maybe let's say the water put into a bottle could be natural capital. So these reservoirs, right? Reservoirs, let's say dams, let's say my paddy fields, right? Under those kind of things, you can put streams, fine. And you can put them under natural capital. Beach lamai will not be natural capital. Beach lamai will be land because beach is not man-made, something that is natural, but there is some level of human involved. A beach, I wouldn't say there is human involved. Beach is just completely natural. And then finally, you have like social capital. Social capital also is not really like a tangible thing. Social capital is like these clubs and societies, these different various other groups that are there that help with what, Lamai? The traditions, exactly. That help with social interrelationships, that help people work together, that help build social interactions. And that is what you call social capital. So clubs and societies, these different traditions, religious groups, right? Even your prefects guild in school will come under social capital. That is that. Harbor, not natural capital. I would say harbor is fixed capital, economic overhead capital. Okay, right. So those are the types of capital. That is also done. Is that okay, Lami? It's not very important, small things just to have in mind. So I need another 10 minutes, then we are done. Now. Okay, then we can go to the quiz after that. So finally, Lami, one more thing. Why is money not capital in economics? Now, in accounting, lamai owner salli damma, owner puts money, we call that this. Harbors will come under this lamai. Harbors will come under, I would say, their natural capital. Now, lamai, if you take a harbor, lamai, harbor is not the beach, huh? Lamai, if you have gone inside the Colombo port and seen, lamai, the harbor is so much man-made. So there is from the containerization to all of that. It's very nice also. Right? So a harbor, I would put it under something like economic overhead capital than something like natural capital. Okay. So coming back to my story here, why is money not considered as capital now? Now in accounting, owner invest money, you put it in the capital account. But in economics, why is it not capital? The quiz is from what we have done so far for now today. Because Lamai, in economics, capital has to be a productive resource. That means with capital, you should be able to produce a good or service. So with capital, if you can produce a good or service, Anna, that is what you call capital. With a machine, you can produce a good. Now with my laptop, I can do this class. But can I do this class with money? Can I produce a good with money? I can't produce a good with money. So money is not a productive resource. You can't produce anything with money. You can use money to buy capital. So I can use my money. I can buy a laptop. The laptop will only help me to produce this class level. So money is not capital. Money is just a medium of exchange. Money is something that will help you get capital. Capital only produces the good. That's why in economics we say, Lamai, money is not capital. Capital is a real asset that has to be producing a good. Money is simply, Lamai, those are monetary assets. We don't consider them as capital. So remember that. Then this story. Relationship between Lamai savings, investment, and capital. What is that relationship? Lamai, in an economy, there are households. There are business firms. There is the government. So all of these people, households, businesses, government, they all save. No? Now, from the money that your father is earning as income, you all save a part. Businesses also from the profits they make, they don't give the entire thing as dividends. No, they keep a part, retain profits. Governments also, they save. Where do these savings go, Lama? Where do people put their savings? Businesses, people, where do they put? Under your mattress? Where does it go to? It goes into Lamai financial institutes. No, mainly it goes into the banks and different finance companies. It goes into the financial institutions. What do financial institutions do with your money, Lama? Do they just look up and wait? Do they just keep it in the safe? What do? They provide them as loans, right? They give it as loans to customers. Loans for what purpose, Lava? Yes, loans for what purpose? They can do a lot of things, but mainly they give loans. Loans for what purpose? Loans for investment purposes, right? For you, for a business to start a new factory, for someone to build a new house, for a business to, buy some raw materials, investment purposes. And as a result, what will happen to your capital stock if there are more and more investments, more and more loans that is going to investments? So people are taking loans and building factories, they are taking loans and buying machines. What does that mean? That means, Lamai, your capital stock will increase, no? So if there is more and more savings in a country, right, that means there will be more and more loans and investments that go out. More and more investments, Kianne. Now there will be more and more capital, more and more buildings, more and more machines, more and more highways. All of that will start happening. Now I'll give you a simple example, Lama. If you take Sri Lanka in the recent years, now take these highways and all. Highways and all, Lama. These are not private, no. Households and businesses don't build highways, no. Highways comes from the government. So if the government, Lamai, from the income that they earn, taxes and all of it, they will have to pay salaries, pensions and all. Anything if they have balance, that is called government savings. No, if they have balance from that, that is the money that they use, Lamai, for investment to build the highway. And then the amount of highways in the country increases. But recently, Lamai, has this happened in the last 4 or 5 years? Have we had any new highways being built and all of it? No, no. You would have seen with the economic crisis, with after COVID and all of it. Okay, the government savings part, there was no government savings. So when there was no government savings, there was no real government related investments, and you saw highways and all, nothing really happened. Now only they are again starting to put the kickstart those projects and get it back. So that's the thing. So they can ask you, Lama, a question like this to explain the relationship between savings, investment, and capital. They can give you a question. So you can read them. I'm not reading the note word by word, but that is the story. And then the final one before the final one, the difference between an entrepreneur and the other factors. That is easy to know. Difference between an entrepreneur and the other factors. Or entrepreneur is someone who takes risks and who does all of that. Right? So we can say entrepreneur coordinates and combines the factors of production. Other people are merely employed. They don't coordinate and they just do what this fellow tells you. Entrepreneur bears risk. Others don't do. Entrepreneur makes the main policy decisions. Other people just implement and follow. Entrepreneur Lama engages in innovations. Other people don't do those. So you can use the difference between entrepreneur and either labor or the other factors of production. And then coming into my last slide, that is productivity. With this, we are done. Right? You can work on the other thing. So what is productivity? Productivity is, Lamai, how much of input you can get, how much of output you can get per unit of input. Now, I'll give you an example, Lamai. If you take two firms, let's say firm A and firm B. Firm A produces, Lamai, 1,000 t-shirts. Firm B produces 10,000 t-shirts. Who is more productive? A is producing 1,000 t-shirts, B is producing 10,000 t-shirts. By the looks of it, it looks like firm B is more productive. What if I now give you some additional information? What if I tell you firm A is producing 1,000 t-shirts by using 10 people, 10 labor units. B is producing 10,000 t-shirts by using 10,000 labor units. Will your answer change now? Who is more productive? Now it looks like A is more productive. So productivity, Lamai, remember, it's not only based on your output. It's not based on just how much output you produce. It's how much of output you produce per unit of input. So if you take, let's say, firm A, if you take the factor productivity or labor productivity, 10 people are producing 1,000 t-shirts. That means, Lamai, how much is one person producing? How much is that person's productivity? 10 people are producing 1,000 t-shirts. One person can produce 100, 1,000 divided by 10. Then firm B, 10,000 people are producing 10,000 t-shirts. That means one person is producing only one t-shirt. That is their productivity. So Productivity is lamai, how much of output you can produce per unit of input. Now, why do you think firm A is more productive, lamai? Why do you think in firm A, 10 people can produce 1,000 t-shirts? What do you think would have been the reason? Maybe lamai, firm A is using a very high level of technology. They have crazy technology, maybe like 3D printing or something they are doing, right? So crazy level of technology. Maybe lamai, in firm A, the employees are very highly skilled. They have very good human capital. Maybe lamai, the management methods, the methods used to motivate these people and all are very good. Maybe they are practicing things like division of labor, specialization. And those are lamai, the determinants of productivity. That is why maybe firm A would have been highly productive than firm B. Okay. So that is that story. Is that okay? Fine. So that is my focus area number 1. Now listen carefully on what you need to do. For those who have my theory tute lamai, can you all tell me where does this page end? This is until page number how much? Page 14. Does the scarcity part also come inside this in your theory tute? Yes, that part you can omit. Scarcity, choice, opportunity, that part you can omit, that you can do in focus area 2. Right? In the theory tute, this is until page number 14. Now, 2 things I want you all to do now. First thing is, listen carefully. Give me 1 second. Let me share that paper. Now, if you open your file, you will see there is so much of papers to do now. So, which paper do you need to know and what you need to get done? Listen. So, what you need to do is, now by next Tuesday, now your next class is next Tuesday. No? So by next Tuesday, you need to lamai do this revision paper. Now there are 11 papers. Properly figure out what paper to do. The paper right? You have to do lamai this paper. So revision paper number 1. Now revision paper number 1 is lamai based on this focus area 1, based on what we just learned: micro, macro, positive, normative, resources, and goods. So then there are essay questions, there are short answers, there are MCQs. It's a combination of everything. Right? So for example, question number 1, all non-economic resources are natural resources, right? Explain all of that, right? So there are different questions lamai that is there. Some of it might have not been directly there in the explanation that I gave, lamai. You do it the way that you know. That's why I will discuss this paper now. So you get the paper done. You have the printed paper, write answers on the paper itself. For those who don't have the printed one, you can, use the PDF for now and write answers. Then to submit answers, lamai, by next Tuesday, by 6 p.m., you have to submit answers. How to submit answers, I will send instructions on the group. So remember, by next Tuesday, you have to complete this paper. Second thing I want you to do is, lamai, make a short note. So I am only giving you this amount of space. You are not getting additional space. A short note has to be a short note. Short note doesn't mean writing everything in small letters. So this week, you're only studying focus area 1. Right? That is the part that I recap today. So you can be creative. You can do it in whatever way you want. Right? You can get it. Make a short note from this entire thing. Third question is based on PPC. Do it the way that you know, lamai. You all have learned unit number 1 now. So maybe sometimes the question might not be directly from the focus area, but you know that. So no, you can, the paper is around a 2-hour paper. Short note, lamai, you can take extra time. So get the short note done. Even if you don't finish the short note, please make sure you submit the answers. It's a short note. You will not get marks for the short note. Marks is for the paper, but you can get the short note done as well. And also, lamai, one more thing. Sorry, I couldn't put space. No shit in where. So when you're submitting the paper, lamai, on the first page, paper okay, poddak write your name, write your contact number, write your school. That over here, lamai. Sometimes some of you all forget that. So product, write that down. I will send the instructions. Don't worry, but please write it on the top of the paper here or write or anywhere. Somewhere on the top of the paper, product, write it. Then only when sending the mark papers, others I can't find them and who submitted. So then I'll let you know. Right? That is there. Then after that lamai, you can also, you batch nang is in 26 batch lamai. If you want, you can write the batch as well. One more thing is lamai, your past papers. Now, past papers, we'll start it with next week. But if you all have the time this week, you can start. So if you take lamai, your focus area number 1 past paper. So there is this past papers from focus area 1. I think there are, it's not stapled together. If you want, you can staple it together. So there is this thing from focus area number 1. I think the one that has, you all can find it, right? It's in order here in the file. They haven't like jumbled the order. So the one that says past papers, unit 1 focus area. These are all the past papers. Now these past papers, Namai, I will not discuss them directly in class. That I will later do a past paper class for you. But those discussions, Namai, are there on my YouTube channel. So if you get stuck, that the main paper, Tamai, I will discuss in class. The past papers, Tamai, if you get stuck, you can go to my YouTube channel, iTutor go to the channel, go to playlist. Once you go to playlist, තමයි හිමේ තියෙන්නේ unit 1 past papers කියලා. So here, unit 1 focus area 1, the past paper. So the MCQs, and the next video is the essay questions. Some videos, MCQ essay questions are in separate videos. Sometimes it's both together. So there you have around 4 focus areas. Some other videos, this is the recordings I did for the 2025 batch. Those plans and all you can exclude, right? You can watch the thing there. So all of that is there. I will share this also on the group with the link and all. Then you can get that done. So in case you miss anything, that option is also available. So I will send the PDF tute. I will do all of it. I will send clear instructions on the group as well. Is that clear? By next week, you have to do this paper and submit here. You can work on the short note. You can work on the, so your priority, first priority, you have to definitely get the paper done. Now, this revision paper is definitely must. Then second thing is you need to make the short note. Third thing is the past paper tute, we can even do it the next week. But if you have time, start with the past papers as well. Focus area number 1. Those are the 3 things I want you to do before the next class. How to submit the answers, whom to share, and all of it, I'll let you know. Take-home papers, we'll do it at the end of unit number 1, because the take-home papers are mostly from the entire unit. Some of it is focused, some of it is like jumbled a little. So we'll do it after, towards the end. For now, get this done. Somehow by the end of, probably by the first week of next month, we'll finish off all the 11 papers. For now, you can focus on these 2. You can get the revision paper and the past paper done along with making the short note. Yeah, if you've done the MCQs already, perfect. Okay. I'll send you the past paper answers as well, I will send. But you can refer to the past paper answers in your past paper book also. But I will also send the thing. Right. So we have 7 minutes more. Shall we quickly move into the quiz? Ready? From all what we learned today? Shall we get into the quiz then? Okay. Give me 1 second for me to load. So the quiz will involve a small cash prize as well. Once the winner is chosen, I'll let you know how much the cash prize is. So give me a second until I load the quiz. Yeah, I'll let you know how to join and all of it. I'll send instructions, put back in the. Okay. Now, to join this quiz, we are doing this quiz through this app called Kahoot. You can, Lama, you don't need to have the app or anything. You can use your phone, your laptop, even this device that you are currently using for this Zoom call. You can use that device, Lama. What you can do is you can click on the link that I just sent on the main chat. If not, what you can do is you can go to this website, www.kahoot.it, kahoot.it. They'll ask you for a game pin. So 8160724. 8160724. You enter that game pin. They'll ask you for your name, enter your name, and you can join Lamai. So even in the middle, you can join. Even if the quiz starts, you can still join, no problem. But I'll give you a couple of minutes for you all to start join. So it's a quiz from all what we learned today only, Lamai. There is nothing that. Yes, I hope my charger doesn't die. I think it should be enough. We'll see. Yeah, there are 140 people for now. So by any chance, Lamai, if you can't join the quiz, you can even send answers on the chat box. But the only disadvantage then is you will not get the points. You can see whether you're right or wrong, but you might not get the points. Okay. So I'll wait for 30 more seconds and I will start that. So how does the quiz work, Lama? It's a MCQ based quiz. The faster you answer, the more points you will get. If you get the answer wrong, it is no points. The faster you answer, get the correct answer, the more points you will get. For every question, there will be a leaderboard as well. Okay, so I'm starting the quiz. You can use any device, my laptop, phone, anything is okay. You can even join in the middle if you want. So if you even miss a question or two, you can still join from the middle. The winners, there is a cash prize that is there. So take it seriously and get it done. It will be a very competitive thing. There is around 160 odd people already in the quiz. Okay, so let me start. So this is until the end of entrepreneurship. Starting with, there might be a little bit of scarcity questions also. Question 1. Which of the following statement about the factors of production is false? The factors of production termed labor means human resources. Factor of production termed capital means money. The factor of production termed land means natural resources. The factors of production is another term for resources. Which one is the false one that you can't agree with? Now remember, you only have 20 seconds. I mean, no time to look at the tute and turn pages and no Google or Eva Karanna, you don't have time. No? So it has to be fast. So for the ones who are not in this llama, who couldn't join, you can send answers on the chat box. So you can send the color, hurry, anything is that, right? So the answer is the blue one. Capital is not money. Okay. Then going into the next. So this is the leaderboard for now. So remember, faster you answer, more points you get. Huh? Then the next one. Question 2. Which of the following statement is a positive statement? Bankers' bonuses should be taxed. UK government ought to split up some of the largest UK banks. The Eurozone ought to allow members countries to stop using the euro. One of the largest industries in the UK is the financial service industry. Right, the green one. Okay, that is the positive statement. Nice. Okay, leaderboard has changed a bit. Remember, okay, there is very small gaps between these things. The faster you answer, more points you get. Next one. Which of the following statements is true? Scarcity is the central problem of economics. Microeconomics is concerned with the economy as a whole. Macroeconomics is concerned with individual markets. Governments have no influence over market price. Which one is true? Number 1, no? Scarcity is the central problem of economics. The micro and macro, they have switched it around. And the last one, governments have no influence over prices. That is not connected, but general thing, governments can influence price. No, they can tax, they can provide subsidies, maximum prices, minimum prices. They can influence the market price. Okay. Okay, that's the leaderboard. I think there's so many people have got all 3 correct, but it's just that the timing is what is making the difference. Question 4. What is the opportunity cost of your purchase? Let's say you purchase something. What's the opportunity cost? Whatever you would have spent the money on if you had not bought the book, let's say a book, that is what you bought. The time you spent studying the book, the cost of producing the book, the money you paid for the book. What could be the opportunity cost? We'll learn this in detail next class as well. What do you think? Let's say if you bought a book, Lamai, what is the opportunity cost? Whatever money you would have, whatever you could have done, If not for buying that book, no, you could have spent that money on something else, and that could have been your opportunity cost. Done. Leaderboard is changed again. Nice. Fifth one. What is the most accurate definition of the study of economics? Ways to reduce wants to eliminate the problem of scarcity, affluence in morally bankrupt world, the choices we make because of scarcity, the distribution of surplus goods to those in need. How do you define economic? Which one do you think is a more correct definition? Hmm. So economics is not about how you reduce your bonds to limit. Economics is about you have unlimited bonds, you have limited resources. So how do you satisfy those unlimited bonds? How do you make proper choices and satisfy those unlimited bonds? That is what it's about. No? So it's the yellow one there. Okay, has the leaderboard changed? Okay, there is a bit of a change that is there. Right. Then the next one. Question 6. Which of the following is an issue in macroeconomics or macroeconomic statement? The purchasing decision of an individual customer, the hiring decision that a business makes, the effect of increasing money supply on inflation, the effect of increasing tax on cigarettes. Which one is the macroeconomic state? The one on money supply and inflation. That is what you call macroeconomics. Okay, that's how the leaderboard looks like. Going to the next. Human capital is. What is human capital? The skills and knowledge of workers, all capital owned by individuals, not by corporates. Machinery that meets or exceeds federal safety standards, all capital owned by individuals or corporates, but not by government. What is called human capital? Right, that most of you have got it right. No, it's the knowledge and skills of the workers. Okay, leaderboard hasn't changed much. So the last two questions, Lamai, has double the points. Double the points. It's for 2,000 points. So the question might be a little bit more harder. The more you answer, the leaderboards can topple a lot. Okay, going to the next. Question 8. Entrepreneurs do all of the following except what? Come up with new ideas about what, how, and when to produce, bear risk, organize land labor capital, own all the factors of production. What do they not do? The last one, no, they don't own the factors, no, Lamai. An entrepreneur doesn't own the labor, the capital. He gets everything together. So that's the one that is wrong. 138 of y'all got it right. Leaderboards have changed a bit. Okay, nice. Right, so we'll go to the last one, then we'll see how it goes. Question number 9. Which of the following is not a factor of production? The wages paid to workers, the water used to cool a nuclear power plant, the management skill of a small business owner, the effort of farmers raising cattle. What is not the factor of production? Your answer is the first one, Lamai. The wages paid to workers is not the factor, it's the return for the factor. The water used to cool a nuclear power plant is land, right? Management skill of a small business owner, entrepreneurship. Or you can even take labor. Effort of a farmer, labor. The first one says the wages paid to workers. Wages is not the factor, Lamai. The workers' effort is the factor. Wages is the return for that factor, right? So that's the last one there. Okay, so we'll look at how the leaderboards would have changed. So in third place, right, we have Tenulia in third with 9117. We have Sanumi Ranasinghe in second, and whom do we have on first? We have Umana Zain on first. We have fourth and fifth as well. So we have Nairus and Hajara on fourth and fifth. So good job. For the winners now, For the ones who were first, second, and third, it's not a very big cash prize, Lamai. So the one who was first, I'll give you a cash prize of 1,000. Second and third, you have a cash prize of a 500. You can get it in the form of anything. It could be a bank transfer. It could be a reduction from your class fee. It could be a reload. It could be anything that you want to do. But you need to drop me a text with your name and say that this was your place. So say, hi, I am this one. I am the one who was second. Something like that. You have to send me a text because I might not have all of your numbers to individually find you and text you. So drop me a text. So good job. Even for the ones who weren't able to do it, if I'm just to show you how the what statistics for this looks like. Give me a second. Let's look at the statistics as well. In terms of summary, so there were 60% correct answers. The one that most of you all got it wrong was this one. If you look at the report itself, so we look at the top 10. So I can see a top 10 in this thing also. Okay, so these were the top 10. So there were so many people who got 100 out of 100. So there were the first 6 people actually who got 100% of the correct answers. But again, like I said, timing matters. So you had Hajara, we had Danindu, right, with all this. There were some people who missed one question. And that's the top 10 there with all the points. I think you'll have done pretty well. Usually, an MCQ in your A-level paper, you can take 2 minutes to do an MCQ. So here you're doing it in 20 seconds. I'm not giving you 2 minutes because then you'll start copying, you'll start Googling and looking at the tute and all. That's why it's only a 20-second thing. You have no time to copy or Google or do anything. The more you try to copy, the more slower your answer becomes. So that's why you genuinely can get that done. So good job so far. I think it was a very productive and a very effective day one. We got a lot of things done. So next week, we'll work on the paper. We'll discuss the paper. We'll move into focus area number 2 as well. So congratulations to the winners. We'll keep the same momentum going. See you. Bye-bye. If you all have anything, stay and clarify, or you can even drop me a text on WhatsApp. See you all. Bye-bye. Guessing that is it. How many years will it take to finish Sima, Lamai? So Sima, you all can get started. I'll give you all more information next class. So you can actually finish Sima in around, there is a bit of a shortcut method also to get Sima done. So actually in around 1.5 years, you can finish Sima off if you really want to. So I'll let you know what the pathways and all of that is. Right, I'll end this recording, Lamai. For any other questions, you can definitely stay and clarify.